106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Wednesday, August 28th, another day in paradise. I hope all you wonderful people out there are doing great. It's Double Impact. I'm your host, Gabe Altiba, and I'm here with my great friend, the great Jericho Green, and we have a very special guest tonight. Dean will be joining us in a little bit. He just texted me, guys, and he's hanging out with his real friends, and he'll get to me in a little bit. How you doing, Jericho?
He'll get to his cyber friends shortly.
He's like, hey, what's your name? I'm going to be a little bit late.
What's your name again? Doing great, man. Living La Vida Loca, raising two wonderful, tiny Americans.
It's a nice new living room you've got. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You guys remodeled,
I appreciate it. A little baby grand back there that I never played.
Oh, look at this. Look at the disrespect. Second tier. How dare you?
It's all right. At least we're on a tier.
No, he's in a he texted me. He's in a business meeting. He's running a touch late. He'll be in a little bit. So,
yeah.
He'll be in, or I'll put a mask on and we'll impersonate him or something.
So, either way, somebody that looks like him will be here.
So
we'll get close.
Sorry. Happy Wednesday. So hello to Heather. Hello to Chin Akakage, Michael Coulter. Of course, Mark's Music Obsession. He's the I think the senior channel member. Guys, get a channel membership. You should get one
now.
Yes, get one today.
Hit pause. Do it.
Yeah. Lucas Letterly, Lee Kindler, Jet Spitzer. Guys, tell me if any advertisements roll in the middle of the show. I know we had an issue with that, like 3 episodes back or something. I made sure to turn advertising all that off during the live stream. I'll turn it on for the replay, but I don't want any damn commercials going on where you guys are trying to watch us live. That was bizarre. I don't know why that happened all of a sudden. Yeah, so, if anything happens like that, please tell me in the chat.
You let us know.
Don't lie to me and try to fool me either. Share screen. Let me share this with you guys. And like I said, Dean will be here. He's just running a little bit late. We're reviewing Superman 1978. Now, I'm a big fancy comic book artist. I worked at DC Comics forever. I worked on Superman forever, many issues. I had never seen that movie, the 1978 Superman. Just never saw it. And I'll tell you what, Christopher Reeves, outstanding. And I know everybody already knows this because everybody saw this movie besides me, but I was when hype is built up and then you finally do something, you're like, people build too much hype and then it can't live up to the hype. This surpassed the hype. I had heard he was just amazing and I was blown away by how good he was. He had so much humanity, so much, pathos, bravery. Like he was just such a real person in that role. I think without him, I don't know if that would have been a good movie without him. You know, he makes that movie. My goodness, he was amazing in that. But I want to hear what you think about that. But real quick, the poll, what Superman power would you have? Flight, X-ray vision, super strength, invulnerability. And Angela Marine says, why don't we ask you? We'll make sure to ask him when he gets done with his other friends and he comes in here. So, Jericho, what would you pick of those four?
I'd go with the invulnerability.
Really?
That way I can just do and say whatever I want and I can't be hurt. Guns, bombs, knives, doesn't matter. Completely impervious to injury. That's the one that I would take for sure.
What if you were emotionally invulnerable? Like you couldn't get your feelings hurt ever. You could get physically hurt, like you get cut or punched, but I could just insult you and you wouldn't care ever.
No, I'm fine without it. No, I don't need that. I'm almost there anyway. So yeah, I would take the invulnerability. That sounds like a lot of fun.
All right. Oh, goodness. So tell me, so obviously you saw this movie as a child, or you saw it recently, or when did you first see it?
It's been years since I've seen it, so it was a bit of a refresher course. But yeah, I grew up, watching the Superman movies. Of course, even though it's Superman,
right,
he's still susceptible to making too many of them. And by the time he got to number 3, which was with Richard Pryor, we're talking like the early 80s.
Right.
And he was hot at the time, no pun intended, because he did set himself on fire. But Richard Pryor, he was, top of the world, and at that time. So I understand getting him, but I think it took too much away from the Superman story and it just got too silly. But the first one, the first one was great. I did find it to be a bit cartoony after watching it. After all of these years, now I'm an adult. Now we've been, waterboarded with really good CGI everywhere. So, it does stand out a little bit, but looking past it just looked like an old special effects, getting past all those practical effects, of course, before CGI. It was cool. It was a good movie. I do like it. It was rooted in family. That's the beginning of the movie. It's his father, the trial and everything, but him trying to save the planet, saving his son, obviously sending him in the spaceship to Earth, and then his Earth parents, the Kents. So, yeah, I do like that about it, but, Superman.
Right? I mean, they are called superheroes, and he is Superman. I do have a problem with this movie for one thing. I am a Californian. I live in America's finest city, San Diego, California, greatest city in the world. No argument. You're a Californian. You live here too.
Yep.
My whole life, people say there's going to be an earthquake and California is going to fall into the ocean. Now, this is very nerdy of me, but I am right. California cannot fall into the ocean. America does not float on the water.
What?
How would it fall into something that it is part of? Like the ocean basin, the ground. I heard this since I was a little kid. California fall into the ocean, float away. This has bothered me since I was a child because I'm like, that's not scientifically accurate. And then I would push up my glasses.
With the tape.
Actually, California cannot fall into the ocean because it's connected to the ocean. Is this where it came from? I'm 46 years old. Anyone in the audience who's older than me, is this where California falling to the ocean came into the zeitgeist? Because I've always wondered where this frankly stupid idea has come from. And then I saw it in the movie yesterday when I watched it. I was like, oh, is that why people say that? Do you think that's where it came from?
That's a strong possibility. But yeah, thinking about it, because there's just Earth under us until the center of the
We're
Earth.
connected to the ocean. We're just higher elevation.
But let's just say there's an earthquake big enough and deep enough to separate California from the rest of the continental United States. It would not fall in the water, but if there's something that big that hits California, the rest of the country's fucked too, because that's going to be like a magnitude of earthquake we've never seen. So the rest of the country, I don't care, we might be quote unquote floating in the ocean, but you'll be dead too. So don't worry about it.
Well, I went and checked it out myself today. This was my view at lunch. That spot right there, there's a bunch of seals. Go snorkeling there. And I was down there, and it turns out there is just ground under the water that is connected to the ground that I was standing on. So we can't actually fall in it because it's all connected. So I did go check it out. But even if there was
even if there was like a huge, chasm or trench deep sea trench right off just feet off of the coast of California, all the way up the coast. There's no way we could fall into the ocean.
I don't know. This is a thing that has bothered me since I was a little kid, and I heard it because I knew it was wrong. And I think this movie's to blame. Now, longtime channel member Mark's Music Obsession, guys, get yourself a channel membership today. He says, I'm not sure. Don't know if I heard it before the movie. I was 10. He was 10 when this movie came out.
So this is great.
Yeah.
This is great for guys, you know, in their 50s, maybe getting into 60, but not too far into 60. But yeah, I would say guys who are in their 50s, early to mid 50s. You're that age, you know, 8, 10, 12, when this movie was
magic.
Yeah, this movie was everything. And then in the papers, people talking about it. Is that Joel Silver? Did he produce
I believe it was
this?
Richard Donner. You talking about the
Richard
director?
Donner. Yeah, that's him. Because he always makes an appearance in his movies. And he was one of the cops in the movie. So yeah, Richard Donner, that's him.
Right.
Lethal Weapon fame as
Right.
well. But yeah, man.
Wasn't he also the Goonies?
Was he?
I think the Goonies is a Steven Spielberg movie, but I think it was Richard Donner direct. He did.
So I mean, what a run!
Lethal Weapon, Goonies, Superman. Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, I'll take that. So I'll retire the day after.
Just those three, he could just retire in the Hall of Fame of movie directing.
We're good. It's like being in the Hall of Fame. He'll be invited to all movie events after creating those three masterpieces. But yeah, Richard Donner. That's who it is.
Mike has bad knees. Poor Mike. There's a knees over toes. That's an account on Twitter. He's a guy who had the worst knees in the world, and he has all these exercises. I'm not a doctor. This isn't medical advice. Check out Knees Over Toes guy on Twitter. He's helped so many people heal their knees. I'm not a doctor. This isn't medical advice, YouTube. You heard it wrong. California isn't going to fall into the ocean. Californians will fall into the ocean. Freeing the state for real Americans is moving. How dare you?
No,
how dare you?
There are real Americans here.
Yeah, look at me and Jericho. We're
right
real
here.
Americans.
They're not running me out of here.
Yeah.
No way. But yeah, if we could pick, we have the Californians fall into the ocean. I get behind that.
Yeah,
Literally.
I mean, if like LA and San Francisco just kind of,
yeah, we could like carve them out. Let's just say LA and San Francisco were a cancer and California was a body. Could we just carve them out,
excise them,
and then push California back in to fill those voids? And I think everything will be fine.
What a state, too. The most beautiful place in the world to live. Perfect weather. They just passed a law yesterday in California, and they said they don't have the money for it. $150,000 loan with like very dubious, like, do you have to pay it back or whatever? I don't know the details. For illegals only. So if you're a citizen, you get to pay for it. If you're here without papers or anything, then you get it. Is apparently what this law says. I don't know this for a fact. So.
Yeah, and they're also advancing a bill that would give illegals a down payment on their first home.
That's what I'm saying. $150,000 down payment on a home.
Oh, is that how much it is?
150.
Yeah, I didn't know the number. That's it. How American is that? You're going to take these people who shouldn't be here and give them our American dream. You're going to give them
on time, Jericho. People need your money.
You're going to give them money that
this guy did it.
Every single one of you. All those dudes moan like women.
This guy's the leading cause of vaginal dryness right here. This dude's like this.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. I'm not going to say, because we can't say it on YouTube. We'll get in trouble. But the minute I saw this guy, and I'm not even kidding. The minute I saw him, I never heard of him before. The minute I saw him, like, his face just has a certain look to it that I can't talk about here on YouTube. But I'm like, oh, that guy, I don't trust that guy. I'll just put it that way. I don't trust that guy at all.
That's how she likes those silver foxes.
No.
She likes those, plus, those distinguished men, the plus age group. But yeah, man, I agree with you 1,000%. Those dudes and the white dudes for Harris, that's the gayest thing I've ever heard in my life.
This guy looks
that
like
dude.
If you handed him a bag of dog food out of the trunk, you go, help me. Like
He would moan. He would moan and fart. That's what that guy would do. I guarantee you two things. Two things about that guy. He has no muscle definition in his arms, none whatsoever, and he cannot defend himself in a physical manner.
Mike has bad knees is saying what a lot of people think. He has creepy vibes, this guy. He just does. I've heard so many people say that, but I thought at the moment I saw him, like, creepy.
Just, hey, sit on my lap there, don't you? Come here, little guy.
See,
like
look
your
at
grandpa.
Jim's like, dude, same feeling. But so many people have said it. I just thought it and I didn't tell anyone. And like 3 days later, when this news is all coming out about him, Scott Adams said it on his podcast on YouTube one morning. He just said it and he walked around it like I did too. It's like, he just has a face I wouldn't really trust with certain people. And I don't know. He just gives off weird ass vibes, that guy. So
yeah, he was going out on stage with Kamala and his family. No, Kamala was on stage, but he was bringing his family up. And there's a part where he grabs his son by the arm and like yanks him. I don't know if his son has special needs. He was the one who was like clapping and going crazy in the crowd. But the way he grabbed his arm,
I saw you
can see for a moment. Yeah, the moment that his
flash on his face
facade fell away, and he like grabbed his arm. And his son is not like a little child. So like, he was pissing his dad off and he's had enough.
No, the son was his size almost.
Yeah, he's like 17, 16, between 16 and 18. He's a young man. And the way he grabbed his arm off, man, what a dick. But this guy.
Can you imagine?
White dude.
If you're lifting that much food to your face, how do you have arms that thin, bro?
You know what? I live in California. We live in a place where you have the highest probability to see shirts like this. California, that's going to be your best shot. I haven't seen anything pro Sloppy Joe or Kamala.
Do you have an impression yet for our camp counselor friend here? Because I know you have great impressions. Does he have a goofy voice? I haven't really heard him talk.
No, his voice is gonna make you want to take a shower after you hear it. Like is
it lugubrious? His voice?
Yeah, if he's guilty of the things he's being accused of, then he needs
has
to
that
be.
Look. He just,
but I'm saying
some comedian. I wish I could give credit because it was so funny. I don't remember which one. He said he looks like an old man and a baby at the same time.
Yeah, like Benjamin Button paused right at the perfect moment. I think, and he's the governor of Minnesota, right?
Yeah. I saw a clip where and this is all alleged YouTube, like National Guard, like shooting paintballs at people. Do you know about this?
Yeah, I did see
during the lockdown to like go inside.
Yeah, there was a curfew.
I'm not some big city attorney, but I don't feel like that's legal. Could be wrong. Not a lawyer. Could be wrong. So,
but I'm sure it's very thinly connected to the sweet and sour sniffles protocols and mandates where he had special powers but still, like, all this crazy stuff, like they can say and make all the policies they want, the laws, but somebody had to grab a paintball gun and some paintballs and aim them at citizens and pull the trigger.
You ever done paintball?
Yes.
I only did it once. Now, my dad has a few acre, like a ranch farm in Colorado. And we did it in freezing weather in the middle of winter. Me, my brother Abe, and my cousin Tim, and just like 3 or 4 of us. And my dad has some junk on his land too, like some pallets and broken equipment and stuff. So it's good to run around and hide and shoot each other. And we're playing, shooting each other and stuff. And it hurts. It's that dry, cold Colorado winter. Cold. It's sunny and it's like, 12 degrees out. And it was windy, real windy out there. And I made a break from some debris to another spot. My brother's like, doop, 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 shooting at me and he's missing. But I see one of the paintballs coming at me from, 40 yards away. And it slices like because the wind. And it's going to miss me big. And then it slices back and hits me right in the nipple. Like, so bad. Right. My brother's an amazing shot. And then my brother was hiding in this little pallet fortress and he didn't see me. And I jump around the corner and I got him. Gun jams. Nothing will come out of my paintball gun. And he just smiles at me and then shoots me in the forehead like 3 times.
Of course. What else are you supposed to do?
Yeah,
that's I've only done it one time too, and it was in Colorado, strangely enough, at my brother-in-law's bachelor party in Breckenridge. But we went in the summertime. It was June something. But man, those things hurt. And we were playing. It was our bachelor, party, whatever. Our groomsmen versus another set of groomsmen who were there. So we were getting shot a lot. And if you wear like a mask, anything in the plastic, you're good. But taking it on the body, man, the arms, the legs, the back, man, you get tore up. It hurt.
Diesel says his buddy lost his right eye from paintball, sued the guy who shot him for $1 million. Diesel, was he not wearing the big goggles that you're supposed to wear?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's terrible.
That must
Jeez,
have hurt too.
that is horrible.
I mean, $1 million? I don't know. Get a patch.
I'm not trading my eye for $1 million. No, thank you. I can earn money. No, thank you.
I mean, I wouldn't make the trade, but if it happened, it was an eye. Yeah, that's.
Oh, you don't want like Red Robin gift certificates instead?
You're like, nah, I'll take the $1 million. I don't want to get dunking for the rest of my life. But yeah,
so
that
so we didn't do a show last week. You couldn't be here. But is there anything new? Anything you want to catch me up on, or because we'll get going on the movie and Dean will pop in when he can. He's in it for those of you guys that didn't hear me at the beginning. He texted me just a little bit ago. He's in a meeting and it's running late, so he'll be here. He'll be here. Or in fact, thereof.
I'm cranking out more content on my channel. I'm gonna put another interview up on Green's house. I did a pretty interesting one with a California politician with a twist, though. I'll save the twist for you. Gotta watch the video.
Oh.
An assemblyman for California. So we talked about some pretty cool stuff.
Okay.
And there is hope for California. Don't worry. And yeah, just doing that, gearing up for November 5th. It's kind of a big deal. So just keeping a finger on the pulse
November 5th?
The presidential election.
Oh, I thought you were like doing something November 5th.
No, I'll definitely be live streaming. Oh, for sure.
Do you feel, you think it's going to be okay? Do you think so? Because I'm like, okay, in my mind, like there's no way Trump could lose this because of how bad the Biden-Harris administration is done. But we saw what happened last time. And I'm not going to say the words YouTube doesn't want me to say. But people had a lot of questions about how that went last time. And that glass half empty part of me is like, why would anything be different this time? Why couldn't those same questions occur again?
Yeah, and once you do something the first time, it's easier to do the second time, no matter what it is.
Right.
Yeah, if that hadn't happened, I would be optimistic like I was. I'd be like, oh man, it's a wrap. You have, somebody like Kamala Harris versus somebody with Trump, somebody like Trump, and he has a track record. He's already done it. So you would think those are insurmountable odds for her, and everything is going to work out that the way that it's supposed to. But I was thinking about this today. How do you have somebody? He's a Bills fan. Don't spread those lies, Diesel. But you have somebody. How can two different people look at one person so differently? How can I look at Kamala for the fake, empty-headed commie that she is, but somebody else looks at her as, she's the best person for the job? They completely ignore that she's been part of this administration. They ignore all the things from her past. How is that possible? How do two people look at one person so differently? Who's right and who's right?
Well, I mean, the facts bear out what has happened. So Bible says, you know a tree by its fruit. So you look at the Biden-Harris administration, you look at the economy, you look at the wars, you look at what's happened. These are bad results. So they are bad leaders. That is indisputable. That's not an opinion. So how can people look at it and think it's good? It's persuasion. Persuasion is like alcohol. Like, oh, you said, well, you can't trick me. I know the news is fake, and it's persuasion. That doesn't matter. Your subconscious doesn't know things are fake and persuasion. And when people sit there and they watch all that propaganda news, all those channels, MSNBC, CNN, they just believe it. Like, how often all those Trump hoaxes do people just tell you, oh, he called soldiers suckers and losers, and he told people to inject bleach, and like they heard it, and then they were persuaded by the fake news that tells them to believe this stuff.
Yeah.
And propaganda works on all of us. So the best thing is to not watch it. Don't consume it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it would be like saying, oh, I have a glass of pure grain alcohol, vodka, but I know it's vodka, so it can't make me drunk. I would only get drunk if it tricked me, right? That's not how propaganda works. If you know it's propaganda or not, it's still going to work on you. So don't consume it. That's the thing. You know, so I think people
Yeah.
who are just like, oh, she's the greatest ever, and Trump's a, you know, literal, you know, he's a Nazi, whatever. They've been propagandized. They buy all the bullshit. You know what I mean? They just sit there and get brainwashed and they believe it. That's why what we do with our entertainment, what you do, with your funny take on politics and the comic books, all I do. That's why that's so important, because politics is downstream from culture. And entertainment and storytelling, joke telling, singing, dancing, songs, all art is the strongest form of persuasion. Storytelling being the strongest. Movies, books, comic books, that's the strongest form of persuasion, because the subconscious doesn't know movies are fake. It doesn't know books are fake. It's why you can watch a horror movie and you jump. You know that's your fucking TV. You know there's not a monster in your house, but you jump because the amygdala, the subconscious, doesn't know. And all that stuff you keep hearing about Homer Simpson and Archie Bunker, and fathers are idiots, and you know, kids know everything, and your heritage is, if you listen to that crap long enough on Disney Plus and Netflix and all that stuff, you will just believe it on a subconscious level. And then that's your worldview. And then you have confirmation bias when you go out in the world. That's why it's important to support the arts on the conservative side. And if you can do what I do and actually make them, then also to make them. So that's what you ask why people believe it, because they're primed to believe it. And whether you know it or not, like, you can look this up. This is not a secret. The government is involved in Hollywood and the news.
Oh, yeah.
They are. They absolutely are. As far as stories go in movie and TV, oh, yes, they are. So they put the messages they want in there that they want people to be thinking of and to be brainwashed by. So absolutely.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. It's disappointing that you have people who will look at her. And I think their favorite one about Trump is to grab women by the punani. So you really think that somebody, not only just somebody, but somebody as famous and well-known as him, told somebody that it's okay to grab a woman by her most private part simply because you're rich and or powerful.
But look at how they twist
real?
what he said. The quote says, when you're famous, they let, L-E-T, they let you grab them. What does the word let mean? Hey, Jericho, you stole my car? Or Jericho, I let you drive my car. There's a huge difference, right?
That's the most important word in that sentence.
That's the most important word in the fucking sentence. And they gloss right over it.
Yeah.
He said to grab him. The quote is, they let you. If someone lets me eat the sandwich, then I didn't steal it.
Yeah.
They wanted me to eat, right? I mean, that's what let is. And you can go and listen to the audio yourself. I know it's been 8 years, but the persuasion that Trump is an evil, misogynistic, blah, 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 all this stuff, the persuasion from all the media gets people to not hear that word let.
Yeah, they sure don't. It's like he never said it. And there's an audio recording. Right. Here you go. This is his voice. This is what he said. They won't even get to that point. They won't even get to the part where they look that up.
And let's take it a step further. It's no secret that men have locker room talk when they're just with the fellas, but women ain't innocent little babe in the woods. They talk pretty damn filthy when they're alone too.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
So
just
spare
like us.
spare me your pearl clutching about this.
Our disgusting is probably a couple levels above theirs, but they have their moments.
I would venture, just the older I've gotten, the more I know about women, they're probably more graphic and grosser than us, if I'm being honest.
Could be. I would not be surprised by that.
Well, this is not related to that, but just like it's an analogy. I was a bouncer. The bar we had the party at, just, basic, right? I was a bouncer there like 12 years ago, just a couple shifts to make some extra bucks. It's like 16 years ago. And at the end of the night, you help clean up. What I saw in the
women's bathroom
compared to the men's room
is
the opposite of what you would think.
Yeah, women are
disgusting. I think it was possibly illegal.
It was horrifying. But you know what? Every young man who puts women on a pedestal and is afraid to talk to girls, show them that. Right? Oh, they're fucking disgusting monsters too. Yeah. They're human, but it's foul. But that's why grabbing women by that's what all men want. If you see somebody famous, actor or musician, oh man, what do they say? Oh man, I bet they get all kinds of chicks. Oh, I bet they can do it. Of course, that's to the victor go the spoils, and that's one of the spoils of being rich and famous is that women will throw themselves at you. I've seen it. When I worked at the radio station, I've been around celebrities. I've seen girls act like complete animals.
I saw it in person once. I was at the Aquaman movie premiere in Hollywood because I was working on the Aquaman comic when that movie came out. So I got invited, and all the stars were there of the movie. Like, and I got to meet them and hang out. It was a big party, couple hundred people there. And I finally saw Aquaman himself come by. Big dude. When I say someone's big,
He's like
big.
6'4", yeah.
Right. No, he's like, I'm 6'4". He's like, he was an inch taller than me. He's like 6. He's a big ass dude. What the reaction I saw women have to this guy was insane.
Yeah.
Like becoming nonverbal.
Yes. But it's like they become mentally handicapped when that dude is around. I've seen women run into things. I've seen women in a group of 100 just storm an entrance to where the celebrities are. I've seen them rip their clothing. Right. I mean, it's crazy. So if that's the case, and we're talking a normal guy, not some scumbag who would take advantage of a woman, but you're talking a normal dude, you wouldn't have to do any. You don't have to grab anybody. They're probably going to grab your hand and put it there. Like, it's crazy when you're famous and rich. Right. You don't have to do that. You don't have to grab anything. So but they don't even think about that. They don't think of how ridiculous that statement is. And that word "let," that's the difference between incarceration and freedom. Right.
Hey, Jericho, will you let me borrow your car? Or should I go in the middle of the night and jimmy it open and take off? Those are totally different things.
Two totally different situations.
Shin Akakage, sorry. Any advice for someone looking to make their own comic series game? Yes, start making it. I know you don't want to hear that, and that's like an insulting simple answer. I don't mean to be insulting, but everything is just a process, step by step, day by day. Sorry, I had to burp. Don't get caught up in the goal. It's a natural human mental thing too. My goal, I want my goal. I want it in my hands. I want it done and polished and perfect. I want it. That you have to fight that and say, what do I need to do today to work on this? What is the whole plan? And then I just think about today. You know what I mean? Right now I'm working on 4 different comic books. They're 120 pages long each. I'm writing different scripts. I'm coloring one. I'm drawing 2 of them. And today it was just like, I'm coloring 2 pages. And I'm doing a show with Dean and Jericho. That's it. I can't think about, I have, 70 something more pages to color in this book. I have to rewrite the plot for that book. I have to do more concept art for that. I can't do all that. I'll discourage myself. So I just have to be focused. What is today? Put it on a calendar and like, okay, that's today. And I did it today and that's it. And then I rest. So make a big plan, Shin, and then space it out over a reasonable time that's fair to you and makes sense. Don't burn out and work too much, too fast. And then just stick to it. All success is consistency over time. That's literally all it is. There's no magic bullet. I hope that helps. Any word on that, Jericho? Anything you can add?
No, man, that's perfectly said. In my sphere, YouTube and all that kind of stuff, I've heard people ask a lot, well, what do I need to get? What kind of equipment do I need? And do I need a studio? And I need a microphone? I was like, no, I started my channel with me and a phone. That's it.
Right.
And then that's another thing I tell them, be consistent. Whatever your production schedule is, stick to it so people can start to rely on you being there on a certain time.
If I know that Jericho's going to give me a funny video Tuesday and Thursday and Friday, then I'll tune in after he trains me what that pattern is. You know what I mean? So yeah, consistency over time. And I'll tell you something, it's a little scary, but it's also good. The time's going to pass anyway. So you could stick to your plan for the next 5 years, or you could just mess around and not do it. But the 5 years are coming and going either way. So now ask yourself, do I want something built after 5 years, or do I want to be asking the same questions in 5 years? Start today. You want to make a comic book. It's already evening where you are, I'm sure. Start today. Write down the idea, 1 paragraph. And maybe it's a dumb idea and you'll throw it away tomorrow, but do something about it every day. Live a life. Live a system where I work on this every day, even if it's a little. As much as you can, do that every day. Let's see. The golden capstone. Hey, Gabe, do you ever struggle with not focusing on one thing enough and completed projects? I always complete my projects. I've never turned in a project late, ever, in my quarter century as a professional artist. But one thing that I have to learn is the thing I was telling you guys about is juggling the multiple books. That kind of bothers me because, like, if I want to do some concept art on Wednesday, but it's Tuesday and I'm coloring pages, I'll like look over to my drawing table half the day, like, I want to go over there and draw, but I got to do these first. So it is a little tough. And that's why you got to be disciplined and fight through your emotion. Like, no matter how I feel, I'm going to just do what I'm supposed to do. I might feel like goofing off or like, guys, I work for myself. I own the company. I work at home and I live let me show you something. This is literally a picture I took today. I already showed you guys this. I live 10 minutes from that. Okay. So I got to be disciplined because I could just drive there in 10 minutes, go swimming, go snorkeling, whatever. So yeah, I got to just, what do I have to do today? And then get it done every day. And that's it. So,
yep. Yeah. It's easy to, working from home, having your house there. You could be doing things on the house. You could be in there chilling. You got the couch, you got the TV, you got all your refrigerator. You could easily get distracted. You got your wife running around the house. She knows how dangerous that is. So yeah, there's a lot of distractions out there, but being disciplined, it's part of being a man. Throw that fucking stone in your basket too. I know it's getting heavy, but that's part of it. You got to be disciplined. You got to stay focused and do what you're supposed to do.
Dean just texted me. He said he's 10 minutes. Oh, but that was 10 minutes ago. Okay, 11 minutes ago. So we'll see him imminently. He'll be here any minute.
Shortly.
So yeah, because I don't know. I don't want to get into the movie and then he shows up a minute later. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe we can get into it later. Let's see. Oh, we can just take more questions from the chat. I love answering the questions. I did what I set out to using this method when I was a kid. I have to do it all over again. Well, the good news is, Corporal Canuck, you will do it. If you stick to your plan every day, no matter what the hell your plan is, it's going to work for you. The only way to fail is to quit. I have argued with people about this my whole life, and I brought around family members. They now agree with me. There's no such thing as failure. When you try something in business or life or whatever, and it doesn't work, you didn't fail. You just learned. You learned what not to do. So 2 ways to win, no ways to lose is how you got to frame it in your head. If I try X and it works, I win. If I try X and it doesn't work, now I have valuable information, what not to do. So I win either way. My daughter's a stand-up comic. Took her up to Hollywood last week. She's going to be, do you know David Lucas, Jericho?
Oh, yeah.
He's a great, my daughter is opening for him on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, she's opening for him 2 shows here in San Diego American Comedy Company. So she's killing it. She was at the Comedy Store in Hollywood twice this month. She was at Jimmy Kimmel's Club about 3-4 weeks ago. She's going back to Jimmy Kimmel's, I think, in October and November to do spots there in Vegas. She's absolutely killing it. And the way I don't know why did I start talking about comedy with my daughter? What did that have to do with what I was saying before?
You're saying to be consistent.
Oh, she's been doing stand-up comedy since she was 16. She's 27. She just goes to the clubs, and now she's getting paid. She's doing her own shows where she sets up the show and invites other comedians to do it with her, and getting paid finally. After all these years, she's been getting paid the last few years. So, and she's just stuck to it. There was never one day where it all works. That whole thing about overnight success, there's no such thing. You know what I mean? There's just no such thing. Speaking of an overnight success, you know him, you love him, the handsome overachiever himself, the great Dean Cain. How you doing?
Overnight success?
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Man, I worked a long time to be an overnight success.
Oh, he took it personal. Dean, if you didn't hear the first half of what I was saying, I was saying
I just tuned in.
I was saying that overnight success is not a real thing, and sticking to it is the only way to get it. So
you are correct.
Absolutely. How you doing?
Pressure makes diamonds.
I'm solid. I'm just trying to turn a little more light on in here.
Yeah, it's very cavernous where you are. You're in the fortress of solitude.
But it's not. It's light and lovely. I just got back, so I meant to be here earlier. I'll get more light up. Give me a second here.
That's all right. Let's see. Hello, Dean. Hello, Dean.
What did I miss? Good?
Welcome. Well, we were having fun talking about all kinds of stuff, talking about how California can't fall into the ocean. We were talking about this guy. Dean, you sent me this picture. You said this was one of your best friends, this guy, right?
White Dudes for Harris.
Dude.
Yeah, we've lost touch.
Yeah.
It's my twin brother.
It's unfortunate. Geez. Maybe it's time to reunite.
So
you know what? I bet on the back of that shirt it says "Peg me." It should. That's what the front says. My goodness.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's I can't give me a good reason to vote for her. I can't think of a single one.
No one can. Don't worry, Dean. You're not alone. Nobody can.
We brought up how this guy, we can't really say it on YouTube, but people agree. He's got a face that I don't trust. I'll put it that way. Do you know what I'm saying?
He's also said some things that are on the sketchy side that make you not trust him,
Right.
because he keeps saying things that aren't true and embellishing, and whether he won that Nebraska Chamber of Commerce award or really did retire as a command master sergeant. No, you didn't. You leave your boys before you're going to war. I mean, just a few questionable things. He looked really nice, though, as a father with a special needs child when he yanked his kid horrifically.
So he does have special needs.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think that's but he wasn't handled with a sweet kid glove.
No.
I've been handled that way before, not by my father, although a couple of times I probably deserved it by my father. But that look alone pulled back the veneer quite a bit.
Yeah, that scowl of disgust.
I was saying the same thing, and I was telling my wife has a history working with special needs kids for over 20 years. And I told her, I said, as a father of a special needs child, especially a child that age, he looks to be a teenager and on the back half of being a teenager, maybe 16, 17, whatever. By that point, long before that, you should have developed the patience to deal with your child, to deal with these situations. You're the mayor of Minnesota. I'm sure he's been to a press conference or two or a speech or something like that. So you should have developed tools to deal with this, whether it's before you come out on stage, a ritual you have or something that he needs, something to hold, earmuffs, whatever. You should have developed a system to deal with him. And it wasn't just the grabbing him and yanking his arm, because special needs or not, you get frustrated. But it was the look on his face. That was the worst part, was the look on his face. Like, if all those people weren't there, something probably would have happened.
Right.
I remember I was flying one time, and I was sitting up in the very front, the bulkhead, and there was a man and his son who was a big guy. The son was probably 18 years old, 20 years old, and the father looked old, maybe 60, so somewhere in that ballpark. And I didn't realize that the kid was special needs at all, because they kind of got on, didn't see anything. But once we took off, the kid had an episode, and he was flailing about. The father was the most gentle, patient thing I've ever seen in my life. And the kid bit him.
Ooh.
The kid bit him, holding on to him because he was so freaked out about the flight. And the father never broke his kindness, his compassion, and kept talking to him. Finally, the kid relaxed into the thing, and I could see the father's hand was shaking and bleeding. I gave him, something for it, whatever. I was just like, wow, I've never seen that. To me was superhero-like, and that amazing. And that the yank didn't seem so superhero-like. That's my 2 cents. And your wife certainly has a lot better perspective than I do, Jericho.
No, she agreed 100%. You just develop those things. And I'm talking when they're toddlers. Like, they should have been, 10 plus years into how they deal with them. So that's pretty crazy. And for him to kind of not realize who he was in front of, there's thousands of people, there's a camera.
The United States of America and the world.
Yeah. And to do that, to lose his cool like that, and that's the time where you put on the fake smile like that, and you really, you put that mask on, so to speak. And maybe that's reserved for the backstage, but to do that in front of everybody,
woo boy,
that means,
sometimes the veneer slips.
Yeah, just like a child who misbehaves, that means that there's a lack of consequence. They've been allowed to get away with whatever they want. That's why they're acting like that in front of people. So maybe it's some of that. Maybe he's been living that "do you know who I am" life, and do what I want.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like we were talking about to Shin Akakage, the fan in the chat earlier, talking about succeeding. And I think parenting is everything in life is the exact same thing. It's consistency over time. You have to be a parent. It's a full-time job. You have to be one every day when you hate it. My granddaughter lives with me. She decided to wake up at 2:30 or 3 the other morning.
Why not?
I texted her. And I was like, "Big baby, yo, what's up? Are you still awake?
Are you up?"
No, well, she has all those. She has that. Well, Jericho, you don't know. Big baby, she's Dean's bookie for football. She gives him all the bets for the weekend. So,
and it's coming up. So I want some.
Yeah, he's trying to get a jump on the competition.
From 2:30, I would not go back to bed till 6. You just have to be patient. She just like crying, then wanted to play in the living room, then wanted to do this, then wanted water, and it was something.
Haven't you been watching Instagram and stuff? All you gotta do is slap a piece of cheese on that kid's face.
Yeah, that's supposed to work, right? A slice of
yeah. I couldn't. I don't know that I could rightly throw. My son's 24. I'll throw a slice of cheese in his face now, but as a 2-month-old, 4-month-old baby, 6-month-old baby, they just toss the cheese. And he's like, ah. It's funny. I don't condone it. Discipline is very important. That's right.
Yeah, it's a slice
Big
of
baby
cheese.
bookie.
Tony.
Big baby's booking.
Tony sent
Don't be
me
late.
a bunch of snacks from down under. They're almost all gone. I do have to get to the Vegemite, but she sent me a box of Australian and British snacks. Quite
Don't say they're the same. Don't say they're the same.
It's the same thing.
Canada and Australia. Ooh.
I like Big Baby Bookie. She'll have to make an appearance on the show. Dean, question for you. Dean Cain, I have a question for you. This is from Michael Coulter. I'm looking to be an inspiring voice actor. Do you know of any master classes out there in LA that I could take online because I live in Texas?
Well, that's really interesting. There probably are. The thing is, when you're speaking in a microphone, if you listen to like Theo Vaughn's podcast, he's got that thing dialed in right because everybody sounds it's good. I mean, I don't know of any master classes online through LA. I'm in Vegas now because I left LA because I'm smart. But I would suggest researching it honestly, online. Because I don't know of any like that. I've always had this sort of tinny voice that I have. I don't have a Jericho voice. I just don't have it. That kid can't. If I tried that, I was like a 7-year-old.
The late night DJ, and you couldn't do
You're
that.
Wolfman Jack right now, baby. That's Wolfman Jack.
So, Dean, I want you. Could you send out a dedication, like, Carmelita, I didn't mean to break your heart. Take me back. Your lover, Josh. Like one of those late night. Could you do one of those or no?
Could I? Am I getting paid?
No.
Oh no, I can't do it. Listen, Evander Holyfield told me one time we were talking about, his boxing things and blah blah, and I was like, I wouldn't do that to Evander, and he's like, hey man, I only fight for money. If I'm not getting paid, I ain't fighting.
Right.
If I ain't getting paid, I'm not doing the sexy voice without getting paid.
All right.
So you got the eyes. There's a whole countenance. There's a whole thing to it. It's an art.
All right.
Layers to this.
Setting up late night dedications.
Those are real, man. On Sundays they have Love. Is it Love Jams? No, which one is it? It's with R-Dub. R-Dub. It's like slow jams or something. It's syndicated all across the country. A lot of the chicks who call in, hey, what's up? This is Lil so-and-so. And say hi to my man in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He'll be out in 3 years. It's hella funny. But it's like Love Jams all the way to like 10
o'clock. Just listen to it in his cell with his.
Oh yeah, they do.
They're
gathered around with that Jergens ready to go after the show's over.
Yep, it's or whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Oof.
A man on a mission.
I saw a guy on the internet, and he found out that you could date women that are inmates, like you could become their pen pal.
Yeah.
There's no.
I got 7 women. I got 7 women now.
Yeah. And when you get out, hope you're ready to wake up in the middle of the night with a steak knife to your throat. Because that's going to happen.
That's the kind of girl, she would dream that you cheated on her and she would actually stab you over it.
Yeah, have some kind of episode or something like that, or some dream that she thinks she's back on the inside and you disrespected her over a ramen cup.
Yeah.
No, thanks.
It's on.
No, thanks, man. The juice isn't worth the squeeze.
No,
but
juice worth the squeeze.
Now we have the benefit of thinking with the upstairs brain. Once the downstairs brain assumes control,
it's over. It's over. You're
Anything's
finished.
possible.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
I want to ask you a question, Dean. The great Diesel, he's always in the chat. Oh, here it is. He accused you of being a Raider fan. He said you're a Raider fan. Now, you're a Bills fan, right?
I'm Bills through and through. Red, white, and blue, baby. Yeah, I'm still you can see my helmet. There.
Right there.
There's my Bills helmet. I'm pulling with him. We look pretty good this season. Didn't win any preseason games. None of our our big boys didn't play much. I'm still Bills all the way through. Now, living in Vegas, I used to despise the Raiders. So I was a Rams fan, and then my brother-in-law loved the Raiders, so I enjoyed picking on them. Now that they're here in Vegas, yeah, I'm rooting for them here and there. I'm rooting for them a little bit because they're my home squad here. But like, I like the Niners too, so I've got a weird group of.
There you go, Dean.
Niners come here to Vegas. I'm not going to the game. I'll watch it at home because I don't need people hearing me screaming for. Because Niners got like 6 of my favorite players, so it's hard not to like them.
Loaded, man, loaded. Ready for a repeat, ready to finally get that little Pat Mahomes monkey off of our back.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Buffalo, too. Mahomes is a monkey on a lot of people's shoulders right now. He's been phenomenal. God bless him, but I'd like to see it stop.
I, much like Superman flew around the earth and made time go backwards, I was able to travel to February of 2025. And, guys, I took a picture while I was there.
That's ahead. Yeah.
Bo Nix, Denver Broncos win it all.
Get out of here, man!
Right.
Put
Rookie.
that
First
away.
rookie to win the Super Bowl.
You sound like a delusional Raider fan now. Don't do that.
Well, yeah, if I was a Raider fan, I sound like this. See,
I'm in Vegas, man. I'm in Vegas. I'll take your bet for you.
Oh, will you? Will you?
I'll take
go through Big Baby Bookies.
Big Baby Bookies.
She'll give you the family discount. Dude, but that's textbook Raider delusion. Don't do that.
How dare you?
Do better for yourself.
Angela Marine is sincerely asking your thoughts on Denver.
The Broncos themselves or the city of Denver? If it's the Broncos, I think the Broncos. Listen, I drafted Bo Nix in a couple of my fantasy leagues that we dynasty leagues to hang on to. I think he's for real. I like Sean Payton's offense. I love the way that Drew Brees handled that, and I see a lot of that in the way Bo Nix moves. He's a better runner and a more of an athlete. If he can get the mental part down, that's what it is. Those guys all have the physical tools to get it done. I think Denver's good. You got their running backs back in. You got you dropped a couple of receivers, moving things around. It's a new system. It's a new thing. So I'm anxious to see what they do when they're actually on the field with the real starters and everything. But I think seeing them anywhere past could they make the playoffs? Maybe. But seeing them hoist that Lombardi trophy, not this season.
Yeah, we're going to see it. You'll see it. Hey, at least we don't have Russell Wilson anymore. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's Pittsburgh's problem now. But you have Bo Nix, like a lot of those guys, a lot of the what's the other guy's name? Penix from Washington.
Yep.
Those guys look amazing in college, setting records, the beautiful throws. I mean, those guys look awesome, but this is the everybody's awesome league. And I'd like to see it. I
have the preseason.
But I have no bad blood with Denver because you're not even in a conference. It's whatever. I wish you well, but I just think your britches might be a little big for you.
In my whole life of watching football since I was in about 7th grade, the Broncos have never been bad until they won the Super Bowl with Manning 8 years ago, and then they've been horrible. Until that season, they were the most winning team in professional sports in the world. They had made it to more Super Bowls than they had losing seasons. They didn't have back-to-back losing seasons in like 34 years. It was like we were the
great organization.
Most spoiled fans in the world. And the last 8 years, they're like the Browns. They're horrible.
I would say the Patriots are probably more spoiled than anybody else over the last 20 years. Before Tom Brady, right when he dies, whenever that is, probably 75 years from now, drain his blood, drain it and study it, because that dude getting off the bus, as they say, no muscle definition, kind of slumped shoulders, was not fast, was not athletic, but somehow this dude has 7 gigantic rings on his hands. And like Jordan, when you cross over, when you got to start adding on the other hand, because this one's full.
Right.
This one, you even got one on your thumb. Who the fuck wears a ring on their thumb? You have a Super Bowl ring on your thumb? So I don't know what him and Steph Curry are the poster children for work hard. Because Steph Curry's 6'3"? That's little in the NBA. You see those freaks when they wear suits and stuff? He's a little guy, and he is the greatest shooter the game's ever seen. And it's just there's some genetics in there. He got his pops was in the league and his brother's in the league too. So there's got to be some nature versus nurture going on there. But he's no physical specimen. He's not LeBron or anything like that. And those dudes just work hard. And Brady is the most decorated, probably the most decorated player, definitely the most decorated quarterback
Right.
You see,
History.
Brady was taking like 199 or something like that,
was
the
a-
6th round, but he recently ran a 40 faster than when he did it in the combine.
How does that happen?
Wow.
That's Barry Bonds. How does Barry Bonds get bigger as he gets into his 40s?
Right.
I will say this is for you though, Gabe. Who was the president of football operations for the Denver Broncos?
The worst GM was John Elway. I'll just
So who is currently the current as of like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years now?
I think it's George Payton, right?
No.
Who is it?
His name is Damani Leach. He went to a wonderful, wonderful school called Princeton University.
Princeton.
Oh, he went to Princeton with the upper crust.
He almost chased down the Princeton football record for most interceptions in a career.
Yeah, but somebody else has that though. I can't remember.
Yeah, somebody
else still holds on to it. That's all I'm saying.
So you're like the 72 Dolphins. Every time a Princeton season ends and nobody touches your record, you could pop a bottle or something.
I'm telling you, I still hold 2 NCAA records that aren't going to get broken because they're per game averages. Because we only played 10 games a year. We only played 10. So these teams are playing, 14, 15 games. That's 2 seasons is like my entire career. We only got 30. I only got 30 games because we couldn't play as freshmen back then. Yeah. So there was a lot of stuff. Dean, have I ever hung out with Nick Cage? Never hung out with Nick Cage. Nick Cage, what's up, my child? Hello. Hi, Jers. Nick Cage was going to be Superman, and he was going to do that. So he called me. I got a message when I was playing Superman that Nick Cage wants to talk to you. I was like, oh, damn. All right. Nice. I called him back, but I didn't hear from him again. So it kind of his must have fallen through. He could have called Nick. He could have called me back. He lives here in Vegas, though, so I hear.
Hey, Dean, let me ask you this, Dean. Yes, you don't have to give any names. If you do, cool. But if not, I understand.
Gabe, I'm sorry.
Hey, man, we said that was secret, dude.
I'll wait for the question.
Come on, we pinky swore. Have you ever been around or hung out with a very eccentric, like almost manic actor who's like really, they're kind of weird.
Yeah.
They're really weird, but they're really good at what they do. But off set, you're like, ooh, that's a strange one there.
Most of the really good actors I know, except for Denzel Washington, who is my favorite and phenomenal. Most of the really good actors that I know and I've been around, I wouldn't trade my life, my sanity, and my brain to get anywhere near what they go through.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they're just, man, there are people, and I grew up with some of them and been around some of them a lot and did movies with some of them. And my dad's directed, like 12, some crazy number, I don't know the exact number, of Academy Award winners and nominees. And I find more, I don't have very many friends who are actors because of that, because of the things that they're sort of hung up on and the things they think about. My friends are athletes and police officers and firemen and mixed martial art fighters,
Comic book artists.
Not many comic book artists. They're in the weird zone. Yeah. But yeah, so I've been around some of them, and I think that's part of their genius sometimes too. Is they don't. There's a lot of actors who aren't comfortable doing talk shows. They wouldn't even want to be on this podcast because they don't want to show any of themselves. They're odd in their own way, so they don't like going on talk shows. They don't like talking about things like that and doing that stuff. Thank you, my child. You're welcome. My kid brought me over a drink. Lovely.
There you go. Good boy.
Hello, Christopher. Hi, Christopher. The testament to what kind of dad you are.
That's right.
So congrats.
And you didn't see my face. I was very nice with him and everything. I wasn't like
grab his arm. Get over here.
Yanking him and scaling him.
Wait till I'm done here.
Well, I know you got limited time, but I do want to talk about Superman the movie with you and what it was like to be a youngster and see that. But real quick, take care of a tiny bit of business. Guys, back in March or April, Dean came to my beautiful home and signed a bunch of comic books for everyone that ordered a signed book. I obviously saved some because sometimes a book will get destroyed in the mail or it just won't show up. I had to replace, 3 or 4 people email me, hey, my book got ruined or whatever in the mail. So I sent them out. But now that it's been 5 months, I feel safe. We'll put the rest of them back on the website. I did not tell anyone about this. Only people on the mailing list. So if you go to bigmancomics.com and get on the mailing list, you'll find out things like this in advance. So I put them back up, and you can go and pick your cover. They're limited. Some of the ones I already put back up, they've already sold out because I only had like 50 or 60 extra of these left. We signed hundreds and hundreds or a bajillion of them, but I only had a couple left. So go check that out. The link is in the description. But I wanted to let you guys all know publicly now that the autographed editions that you people have been emailing me and asking about, those are finally back up, bigmancomics.com.
You told me those were sold out, and I couldn't get any. You told me those were sold out, and I couldn't get any more. I'm not on the mailing list.
Oh, okay. Well, get on the mailing list.
On the mailing list.
Dean, where could you get your signature on a comic book?
At a Comic-Con, I imagine. Certainly. I'll be in Florida.
I bet you could pull out one of the copies and sign it for yourself.
Yeah, but I don't have yours.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I know you're going to charge me.
No. I only charge you in friendship.
That's way more expensive.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I could have paid for the game. I could have thrown some cash out there and be done with it. But now I get the friendship. There's a responsibility. So I got to make my extra big baby bookie. All that stuff.
I said,
hey, don't be late on her payments, Dean.
When I said forever, I meant it, Dean.
When I told you forever.
When I was fogging up the outside of your bathroom window.
You're drawing hearts in the steam.
I meant that shit.
Janine Bilotti, member for 9 months.
Oh, Janine's the greatest. J9.
You're the real deal, Dean, is what she says. How nice.
Appreciate that, Janine. Haven't seen you in a while. Miss you. God bless your ex-husband, your late husband, Michael. Great dude.
R.I.P.
And Janine also for $2. Thank you very much. Very generous. She got herself a signed copy. Awesome. Very awesome. So let me ask you, Dean. Oh, go ahead, Jared, if you got a short question, because I want to talk about the movie a little bit before he has to go.
I see the Superman movies. They're in 2 different categories. You have the newer movies, and then you have the ones that came before. And not that they're the older movies, but that like you, Christopher Reeves, George Reeves, you're just in a different class. You're the fathers of what we have now. You know, they're the Christopher Reeve movies, of course, Lois and Clark. So you guys are in an upper echelon of the Superman pantheon. Like, you know, Brandon Roush, Henry Cavill, great, but that's something different. That's a different era of Superman. You guys are the OG, triple OG.
That's right.
Supermans.
I'll take that. My Superman. I mean, I saw the George Reeves show, you know, when it was on TV in black and white and the whole thing. I saw that. But when I saw the movie, Superman, the movie.
How old were you, real quick?
1978, I was 12.
Perfect.
And that's a perfect age.
It struck me. I was like, there's a man in a blue suit with a cape who can fly. And that man is Superman. And I love the twinkle in the eye and understood the humanity for what he was trying to do. And I was like, man, I can relate to this guy. I love this guy. This guy is awesome. When I was offered the opportunity, they didn't offer me the job, but the opportunity to go and audition, only Superman I could think of in my head was Christopher Reeve. And that's how the Superman they wanted him to sort of be played in that sense. Because in our show, Superman is the disguise. Clark Kent is the real guy. So he puts on Superman as the disguise, as opposed to what Christopher Reeve did was being Clark Kent was the disguise, and then Superman was the real guy. We were the opposite. But when I played Superman, who did I model that after? Christopher Reeve. Right. He was my Superman. I think he's the greatest Superman of all time. Oh, I like that. Look at that. Somebody bought theirs they saw on Friday Night Tights. Best comic I have read this year by far.
Damn, dude. That means a lot to me. It really does. Dean and the amazing illustrator of this book, Akion, and myself poured our hearts and souls into this. And I'll be working on the script for the second one finally. I've got 4 different books I'm cooking right now. And a 5th one came into my head the other day. So, yes, we're going to have that out. Akion is 80 pages through Empyrean, which is like my love letter to Star Wars. It's a husband and wife, and they're setting people free from this dictator. It's amazing sci-fi. 80 pages. It's a 120-page book. He should be done early October. And then he's on to the Dean Cain Volume 2 after that. So hopefully we'll have that out before Comic-Con next year, maybe in the spring or the summer. Do not hold me to that. I make no promises on that. They'll be done when they're done. But yeah, we're very excited.
Why did you have to do a love letter to Star Wars? Doesn't the Acolyte, didn't that do it for you?
Hey,
Oh,
too
yeah, the
soon,
Acolyte.
Dean.
Too soon.
Dean, that was too
How
soon.
dare you? That's like
Jeez.
I rewatched the yeah
I'm just-
the three, I
That was
rewatched the
not
three
nice.
original Star Wars about a week ago with Big Baby. We watched it. She sat next to me on the couch. She's only 21, 22 months old. She loved it. She just stared at it. She would go, owie, owie, when people would get shot. And then one of the spaceships blew up and there's fire. And she goes to me and goes, hot. That's what she tells me.
That's right, girl.
But only for a second. It's only hot for a second.
Yeah. Like, don't worry. He didn't suffer. Don't worry about it. And
Dean, that was a. Go ahead, Dean.
It was there. I took the knife, I plunged it deep, and I twisted it.
That was not nice at all. And just because they pissed all over the Star Wars franchise does not mean that you should piss on the ashes of that TV show.
You're correct. I take it back.
Not cool.
But the original ones, they hold up so damn
Oh, yeah.
well.
They're amazing.
The dialogue, the characterization. I remember I was in the middle of it watching it, and Han Solo was saying something to Princess Leia about, we don't have to do this by committee. And she's like, I am not a committee. And like just that dynamic they have. And I tried to write some of that with Chris Tanaka and Veronica, that same dynamic. But I turned to my wife and I said, God, I hope I write something this good one day. Because I love writing these books so much. And I was just so inspired. I hadn't seen them in probably 10 years. I saw them 100 times growing up. But they hold up, damn it.
And it's also a different perspective you have as a grown man.
Right.
It's different. And as a husband and a grandfather, damn grandfather.
You're looking at it totally different, especially the relationship between Luke and his father and all that kind of stuff. And this Star Wars, the original, is a hot lasagna. George Lucas takes it and passes it to the new generation, and then they take it in the bathroom and take a shit in it. All you have to do is take it to the table so the people can enjoy it. I've given you the blueprint. I've shown you what's successful. Here are the characters. Here's a storyline. Continue it. Remake it. But here it is. And they say,
Jericho.
nope. Give me those hair clippers. I'm going to shave the side of my head. You're going to sit down there and you're going to listen to me because men suck and women rule. All right. Women rule and men drool.
Right. Now, Dean and Jericho, either one of you, if you owned Star Wars, you own that IP, 11 Entertainment owned it, or Jericho Green Productions owned it, how many billions of dollars would you have in your bank account? Owning Star Wars is like a money printing machine. If you just did the old stuff that people
It's a mint. It's your own personal mint. So why would you gum up the works? Why would you just jam a stick into the spokes of that perfectly functioning, well-oiled machine that has been here since 1977? Why do you not want? Are you not wanting more money? Do you not want billions? What are you doing?
I just love, when you look at the idea, if someone came up to me and I was George Lucas and I had those first ones done and they told me what an incredible fan they were and how they just loved the franchise and and would love to, keep that going as opposed to going, I'd like to reimagine it as lesbians in space.
Satanic lesbian space witches that are communists.
Come on.
Jericho, give us your feelings though.
This time, be truthful. That just does that blows my mind. That the narcissism on that is you can't measure it. It's off the charts. There's nothing.
I want someone who would be a fan of the genre, fan of what we've done, and want to continue in that vein.
Yeah.
Change it completely. It's just horrific.
When you talk to them, they're getting you excited about your own project and what they're going to do with it. Perfect. Here you go. Cancel the appointment with the angry space witch. Bottom half of their face is shiny all the time. Witches or whatever they are. Cancel that. This sounds amazing. Nope. No.
And that girl, the girl that was the star of that Acolyte show, she came out like today in like an 8-minute Instagram video or something, saying that, it's really sad that the show got review bombed by a bunch of alt-right racists. I remember her in an interview like 5 months ago. Part of the goal of making the show was to make white men cry. So jokes on you.
Make white men uncomfortable or cry, whatever it is.
It was
white men. It was uncomfortable. That's what she said. She said, the goal. This is the goal of a Star Wars project.
You know
to
what my
make
goal
white
is
people
when I write comic books, and you know what my goal is to entertain people and get rich doing it. That's
No,
my
Gabe.
goal.
That is so
Holy shit.
2011.
Inspire them, give them, wonderful, warm, fuzzy feelings, make them feel emotions, and that's all the stuff you want to do. Teach,
Yeah.
but not in a way where you're banging somebody over the head with it, but like say, here's an example. Remember there used to be a moral behind every episode of Happy Days.
Right.
You get into it and you figure out what it is. You're like, oh, and Fonzie.
Cartoons.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Always a PSA.
Right.
100%.
Knowing is half the battle. Cassie Suba, she says, as a Christian, what impressed me most about Lois and Clark was that Clark waited till his wedding day.
Well, Cassie, I will say this: Clark was a better Christian than me.
Well,
I have a child. I'm not married. Clark was. He is truth, justice, and the American way. And the American way, and individualism, and sticking to his word. He was raised with these morals and things because of his parents, who were small town farmers from Metropolis. From Smallville, Kansas. That's why he was the most moral. He was the most powerful being on earth. He could have done anything. Mm-hmm. And he chose to be the most moral because that's what he was taught by his loving parents who were there to protect him and teach him.
Is this a company? I'm sorry. In the chat, there's a Dean Crane. Do you know this man, Dean? Dan Crane. Sorry, Dan Crane.
I like it.
Hail boys.
Really close though, but if you're dyslexic, you'll never catch it.
Right.
You'll never know.
Appreciate that.
That reminds me when you were saying how good Superman was, even as Clark Kent as a young man. But that reminded me, I don't know if it's part 2 or part 3 of the Superman movies where Superman was bad. Like the red of his suit turned to like a dark maroon.
That's
his
part
hair
2,
was,
right?
Was it? His hair was kind of exactly.
And mad.
Yeah, his hair was kind of disheveled. That felt weird because Superman is truth, justice, the American way, the little curl right here, the boy next door. He's a good guy. No matter what, in the face of whatever, he's going to stick to the rules. And I remember as a kid, I didn't like that. I'm sure that's probably on purpose, the way they directed it.
That's why I don't like Temple of Doom. When Indiana Jones is like possessed and evil, I hate that.
After the thing.
I didn't like that either.
Turned by the little Asian boy. We did it.
Yeah. He did.
My little
Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones.
No, Dr. Jones.
Yeah, he burned him with that damn torch.
No time to love, Dr. Jones.
That woke me up too.
Yeah, a little 1400 degrees to the rib cage. That'll do it. But we all know, and you guys don't have to say anything, but we all know Temple of Doom is the greatest.
The best.
Moving on.
It's the worst of the 3. It's Raiders, and then it's Last Crusade, and I don't even act like Temple is a real one of the Indiana Jones.
Hey, Gabe, we all make mistakes, man.
Where do you stand? Where do you stand on this, Dean? Where do you stand? Which one's the worst?
I like Star Wars. I'm just which was the worst? I mean, they're all 3 of those are super quality. I'll tell you what the worst one was. The one I watched when I was in Cannes, the one that had Shia LaBeouf in it. That was
the Crystal Skull.
That was the worst one I had seen.
Never watched it. I couldn't.
Yeah,
I could, man.
I like the 3 you guys are arguing about because they're all great.
They're really amazing.
But that one, I watched the Crystal Skull. I was like, I was in Cannes watching it. I was like, oh no. Oh, no.
You're not supposed to have bad movies here. This is supposed
to be the whole thing, and everybody's here, and dang. Cassie, even if I wasn't living up to it, you still encourage people, particularly young men, to stay true to your morals in a culture advocating the opposite. That's the character.
True that.
Absolutely, Cassie. Well said. I mean,
that's very true.
I try to be a really good person, but I do have my own kryptonite.
We all do, man. We all do. Some of it has blonde hair, some has
usually in a skirt.
But I do like how Christopher Reeve played the Clark Kent. There was a lot of excuse me, sorry, people bumping into him and him bumping into other people and all that stuff. He played that
shoulders and everything.
Yeah. He played that I'm not anything near a superhero very well.
Phenomenal.
And that was cool. And then
I was watching. I was like, "Come on, Superman, straighten up! Come on, man, just let him go." Because I was
one punch. It's over. They got robbed. I was hoping for a different outcome.
Angela Marine has a question for you, Dean. Fifth season of Lois and Clark. What would you have liked to have seen happen?
I would have liked to seen them have take care of that baby that was left on the stairs and in their kitchen or wherever it was left. Have the baby go back and then have them be very upset and having experienced parenthood and falling in love with a child that you have to take care of for every. I don't know if you know this, Gabe, but when they're little children, they can't do anything on their own. You know, you probably didn't experience. They don't sleep on their own. They can't wipe their nose. They can't eat. They can't go to the bath. You probably haven't experienced this because, you know.
Wait, say that again. I'm writing this down. When they're little what?
Hold on. I hear something.
When they decide they want to wake up at 5 there.
Now, did I hear you talking bad about babies, Dean? What do you have to say for yourself now, Superman?
Big baby, I was just saying I was being facetious.
Quiet. You owe me a lot of money for them football bets.
Uh-oh. I told you, Dean, don't be late. I told
I'm
you.
good for it. I'm good for it.
How do your thumbs feel today? Feeling good?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'd like to hold on to them too.
Right. I would love for you to hold on to them. So I'm going to need my money soon.
I'll call you right after the show. We'll straighten this out.
Okay.
Right after we wrap.
All right. Well, my mama's making me a baba, so I got to go. Bye.
Baba with Japanese whiskey in it.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Big baby can appear at any time. She calls the shots around here, so I'm not in charge.
You can make the same jokes, the Chuck Norris jokes. When the boogeyman goes to bed, he checks underneath his bed for Big Baby.
That's right. She's very, very sneaky for a 75-foot child, too.
That's right. That's right. I did get
this
shirt.
I mean that in the best way.
I got this for
that's a great shirt.
My daughter got me this, so there you go.
That's great.
Yes.
That's fantastic. I was saying something. I forgot what I said, but about babies. Well, no,
you were defaming babies and saying they were not capable of doing things, and then Big
Baby. I
was
was just kind of making the point because you've been up all night with Big Baby, and so I was kind of teasing you, really, because I slept like a baby last night. I slept very late last night, very long. I think I slept for like 10 and a half hours solid.
Oh man, like a cat in a windowsill. Sleeping good.
It's on your back with your legs akimbo.
Oh man,
all the sun.
sunlight. Yeah.
I woke up and I was like, oh gosh, it's probably 9 o'clock or something like that. And I've had an incredible sleep, and it was like 11:20.
Oof.
Whoops.
Yeah, I was a little late for a couple things, but I took care of everything after that. But I had been up a little bit late during the night, not because of Big Baby or any other craziness. It's because of this dog right here. This beautiful dog.
That's Jericho. I've met that dog. That is a very friendly dog, but very spoiled.
Did you know? Neglected.
Did you know that Dean doesn't have that? He doesn't have that dog walk up or down the stairs. He carries it. That's his baby.
She slips downstairs.
I thought you were just spoiling her. I didn't know that.
No, she slips because the stairs don't have like carpet or anything on them. And she's taking a couple tumbles.
So and that's a long flight of stairs.
23, Michael Jordan stairs.
Oh wow. Okay.
Michael's right over here looking at me too. I always have Michael and Magic picture.
Look at this. Nate, I love you for tuning in and subscribing to the channel, but you almost got banned for this comment because you put this in the universe. Imagine if social justice warriors found baby Kal-El.
Oh my God, maybe we do that one.
Don't say that out loud. That's
no.
We'll do it. You know how they do like Weird Al Yankovic would do like a joke song?
Yeah.
Right. Number one hit. They tried that SJWs with the kid Jonathan. They had that.
Don't I know about it?
They tried that with him. Do you have a story about that, Gabe?
Yeah, I quit my 15-year career at Warner Brothers over that book. Yeah, I kind of have a story about it. It's a little sore spot for me.
What if he got found on the wrong side of Kansas and they were like toothless meth addicts?
Oh,
they're like, man, grab that baby. Bring that baby in here. He was raised by that. Oh, he was like a meth Superman.
Oh,
yeah, I think they have him on The Boys.
Oh, man.
Isn't that what's his name? Homelander?
I've never seen The Boys. It looks so degenerate.
I gotta watch it. It is degenerate, but I gotta watch it.
Okay.
I need to get it. I haven't watched it. There's so much I haven't watched, but Gabe, you've been to my house. I have a theater now. So I'm going to watch it.
We have to do an NFL Sunday at Dean's Theater. We have to do an NFL Sunday.
That's going to be so awesome, man.
Yeah.
to get that game huge.
You don't even
Turn
know.
that volume
You go
up.
in his room, and he's got these couches that are like like clouds, and they're huge, and the leg kicks out with the button, and you just go to sleep because it's dark in there.
Yeah, you can fall asleep.
You go
And
right
it's super
to
It's built for it.
Dean has probably seen the first 3 minutes of probably 200 movies in that room.
at least. It's such a good movie.
The first 3 minutes and the credits. You know the grips. Everybody in those movies.
Exactly. I watched it 36 times.
Services, yeah, man.
Oh.
Car service.
I had a bunch of family here at the house, and it's a big house, so there's plenty of bedrooms. But we ran out because there were 11 people here, and my cousin, I was like, and he's tough as can be anyway. I was like, "Where you, Forrest? Where you?" And he's like, "I'll sleep in the theater." Man, he kicked that air down to like 68 in there, and we didn't see him for like a long time.
He's slept better than anybody else.
Middle of the next day, I was like, "Is he?" They're like, "Man, I haven't seen him." I was like, "Somebody go in." So I looked. I got the shotgun. Somebody else got the M4. We all came in, sleeping like a baby, just just rocked out. Like you hang.
And on the screen, it said, "Are you still watching Netflix?" Right?
Yes or no. He was catching up on sleep.
I was gonna say, have you seen that one? It's an Australian couple. They go to the front and they're checking out, and they're like, "Oh, it seems we have this here, and we have 2 movies." And the guy's like, "Hey, we'll just pay for it. It's fine, it's fine." And she's like, "Wait, no, we have 2 movies. We only watched the one." He's like, "No, it's fine. We'll just pay for it, honey. It's no big deal." She's like, "No, I want to know what it is." And then he's like, "Well, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and wild lesbian bitches from hell," or something like that, and she's like, "What?" And he's like, I can explain. She's like, "No way I'm going to be here with a man who watches child movies, blah, blah, blah." She was upset about Harry Potter, not the other one. It was so funny. It caught me off guard completely. She's like, "Watching Harry Potter." She storms off. They got me. That was the best thing I've seen out of Australia. That was good.
Oh my goodness!
Good job, Australia. Finally.
When I was in Vegas for my daughter's stand up, and she's going, Dean, they loved her, and the Jimmy Kimmel Club is going to have her back in October and November, so that was awesome. But
really,
right. So we hung out at Dean's house before the show. Big Baby went swimming in the pool. She loved that. Thank you for having us over.
Oh,
but
yeah.
So I stayed in the hotel with Big Baby while my daughter did the stand-up, and my wife got to go watch her, but someone has to babysit. And I was on my phone fooling around. Big Baby, I put on Tom and Jerry. I look up, and on the TV in the hotel, it's like ready to watch. And she had somehow got the remote and bid it and ordered Planet of the Apes on pay-per-view. So
you had to watch that.
No, I called downstairs. They gave me a refund. So
oh wow. Meanwhile, I was out there watching your daughter in the comedy special. I was watching her.
That's right. You got to go to the show. So yeah, she did good too, right? She's hilarious, right? So
Yeah, you make it Vegas. Doing something like
that. Vegas, man, I just left meetings and things because everybody comes out here, right? So and I'm going back out again in 1 minute. So I got to go off to the next now because I had to move everything. Which one's a terrible movie? Planet of the Apes. She didn't like it.
The latest one was
take a pic.
It was offensive because it wasn't good or bad, and it was the worse than bad. It was boring. That's worse than bad. At least bad, you can laugh at it.
Boring is not. You don't ever want them to say your movie was boring.
Did mini roast Dean? No, but you know what we should do, Dean, since you're such a good sport, the roast of Dean Cain. That would be good with my daughter as the MC. And my daughter is like a champion roaster, by the way. She's won so many of them. She did roast you once. I told her to make up a roast, and she told you and you laughed. Do you care if I say it? Do you care? Okay.
But you can say it if you want. The only thing is, Tom Brady, who is just one step down from, Greek god status, his roast, which was hysterical, he even got in trouble.
Right.
So how did he get in trouble for what he said?
All she said about you, Dean, she says, Dean looks like if Superman turned 40 and got a mortgage. That's not mean. It's fine.
Superman did turn 40 and get a mortgage.
There you go.
But that's not bad, right?
No.
Did Tom Brady get in trouble for what he said, like in response. You know, they always get up there and talk some shit
It's
back.
got a couple things that got people.
Come
It got. I know. Listen, everybody wants to get. They all want to get offended by everything.
It's a roast. That is the space for the most harsh, disrespectful, like fucked up things to say about. I mean, like
Dude,
nothing is off limits.
there's stuff, but the stuff that they say in the roast battle, I won't repeat it here on YouTube because you could get maybe like in trouble. Some of it you could say, like, my daughter's last opponent was a really woman of size. So after they introduced that lady, my daughter said, "Let's give it up for Machine Gun Belly." You know, so just stuff like that. It gets much worse from there.
But that's the place for it. That's a roast is where you're going to hear
Right.
the craziest, meanest shit you can possibly think of.
It's like being a fighter. It's like being a boxer. That's the point, is to be brutal, you know.
Yeah, but for him to get in trouble for that is ridiculous.
Okay.
You know, because he's Mr. Perfect, they don't want to. He wasn't allowed to say. He wasn't allowed to be human.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sorry.
Now, my baby says, Dean, can you do a William Shatner impression? You look like him. I don't see it.
Oh my gosh! When I first started playing Lois and Clark, the Shatner references were nonstop.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah. I like him. I'm not an impression kind of a guy. I can't really do any of them. I mean, Captain Kirk was the bomb, man. I loved him. Growing up watching Star Trek, and William Shatner, I see him all the time. He's got to be 93, and he still goes to Comic Cons and rocks and rolls, and he is bless him. But I don't have a Shatner. He has such a specific way he talks. I'd have to listen to it and then practice it and then do it because I don't know. Spock.
I've always liked like the Jim Carrey, the over animated. There's something on the wing. You know that the Star Trek where it's over the top. Those type of William Shatner.
Even that was better than I could do. The Jericho. There's something on the wing.
Something. You guys remember back in the 80s, William Shatner hosted a TV show called Rescue 911.
Loved that show as a kid. I remember
where they would like reenact, people getting hurt and injured or whatever. And then the ambulance would show up on scene, or whatever he would say. He was like narrating it, setting it up for them to get to the reenactments. That show was the shit.
That was awesome.
Well, I don't know what this means, guys. Do the weird or what impression? What is weird or what? I don't know what that is.
I think there's a thing where he does. I think Shatner says something like, "Was that weird or what?" No, believe it or not, I don't know. I'm confused.
I don't know.
Lucas, we're not that smart. Jericho is, but the Lucas aren't.
I have my moment.
William Shatner singing Rocket Man is still one of the most hilarious performances ever.
Does he sing it or does he talk it? Remember he did all the spoken word stuff?
He kind of talks it, yeah.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
That was amazing.
So, Dean, you've been in Vegas for over a year now?
Yep.
I'd say over a year. What's your favorite time of year in Vegas?
The same as anywhere, like September. It's just fall. The heat you get. So Vegas gets hot and it can be June, but July and August are hot. And this year it came a little early and it's already dropping off. I was leaving this last meeting. It was 100 degrees outside, which in Vegas isn't that bad.
Right.
It isn't that bad. It really isn't. 100 degrees in Vegas would feel like 80 in Malibu, where I'm.
Right.
The thing I can really compare it to the most. I was back east not that long ago. It was like 85, but it was humid. Felt like a million degrees. I was just sweating the whole time. So I think September, October. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Most of the year, 9 months out of the year, the weather's amazing. You get. I'm adding all the rest of it into those other 3 months. Summers are hot, but the summer nights are amazing. You sit out and it's great. And so the weather, it's dry here, so that takes some getting used to, but that's it. Just a little bit of an adjustment and everything in the world is here. It's the entertainment capital of the world. What do you want to see? Mm-hmm. 127 in Havasu. It gets 127 in Havasu, but Vegas feels hotter. Maybe because you got the lake in Havasu. You can go over to Lake Mead here, or I can jump in my pool, which I never heat in the wintertime or the summertime.
Well, yeah, here in San Diego, we are having the last bits of heat of the summer. And guys, I got to tell you, now I don't like to throw around the word hero, but I got through it today. went down the beach, and it was like 78 today.
Oh no.
It's August in San Diego. We are dealing. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. Okay, I'm fine.
Cancel your donations.
It really got cool at night here last night. I think it got down to 78.
It's 88 where I live right now. So the middle of the night will be like 69 or something.
It's mid 60s here right now. So it's a little chilly.
Very unfortunate. But Vegas, it gets smoking hot, but it is nice. And there's nothing like it being hot all day long. It cools off in the evening. You go outside barefoot, shorts. It's perfect because now you can be outside. Now you can sit out in the open and not get cooked. And it's so nice. And if you have a pool, it's warm. It's beautiful. There are definite upsides to places that get hot.
Agreed. I got to get on to my next 103 somewhere for Heather. She's having I got to get off to my next meeting, which is only 10 minutes away, so that's good. And I told them I'd be a little late because everything's running a little late for me tonight on a wild Wednesday. But I enjoyed talking to you, gentlemen, as always. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
And hopefully we can do it again real soon. I'll call Damani Leach over at Denver, and I'll ask him some questions about Bo Nix and whether they're going to be.
Let him know. Let him down easy.
Tell him this. You got a friend.
Easy.
You got a friend. He's 6'4", 261 as of this morning. Played some defensive end in Division I high school.
That's not going to be a DN in the NFL at that size.
So just tell him if he needs anyone to wear a uniform and just stand on the sideline the whole game. I'm his man.
You'd look like a skinny tight end.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, you'd stick out for sure.
Or a tight skinny end. Wait, that's wrong. No.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's
way
wrong podcast.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's a different show. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. Is there anything you want to promote before you get out of here? Anywhere you're going to be? Something you need people to check out?
I got a movie coming out September 12th called God's Not Dead and God We Trust. It's the 5th of the God's Not Dead movies, but it's a standalone movie. If you've never seen any of them, you can go see it. It deals with the world of religion and politics. There is a separation of church and state, although that's never clearly stated. It's not in the Declaration of the Constitution. It's just been in practice the way we do things. However, when we were created as a country, God was everywhere. It's on our money. God we trust. It's all over the way we were created because. The way this country was created, because God was very important to the creators, because it deals with it and informs their values and the morals and what they stand for. So it's hard for you to do something without kind of knowing what someone's morals are, what their values are. We don't always live up to them. I don't always live up to my values and morals. I'm a human being like everybody else, and so sometimes you fail, but you try to. And if that's what you're trying to work on and govern off of those values and morals, you're in better shape. Marxism sucks. I just want to add that in there. Thank you.
My wife went and saw, they had a screening of that brand new God's Not Dead. They had a screening 2 weeks ago down here in San Diego. My wife went with some of her friends, said it was excellent. And one of the actors, I'll let you go, one of the actors in that God's Not Dead movie, the latest one, he's the baby Kal-El in Superman 1978. He's the infant. Same guy. That's crazy.
Nice.
It's me. No, it wasn't. Oh. I was 12.
So
that is pretty cool.
All right, Dean. Peace, man.
All right. We'll talk to you later, man. Have a good night. Say hello to Christopher.
Shall do. Cheers.
And he's still here, guys. Oh, and there he goes. There he goes. Well, that was
Good
fun.
guy.
That was a lot of stuff. Do we get into a movie? Because that's 2 more hours. I don't think we do that. That doesn't make any sense. We've already been here like an hour and 40.
But it is a good movie. Check it out.
It's a great movie.
Superman.
Maybe we'll do it next week. We'll review it. We'll get into it because I want to talk about it. I was blown away by the humanity that Christopher Reeves brought to this role. I told you at the beginning of the show, I was stunned. You hear something so good, a restaurant, a music band, whatever. You hear for years something so good, and you finally go and do it or visit or whatever. And then it doesn't live up because your imagination had it so hyped. He was so much better than I thought he was. He's the greatest Superman, the greatest. It was insane to me how good he was in this. I don't know. I guess I haven't seen a lot of his work. I guess I haven't seen a lot of movies or things he's been in. But I guess we'll do that next week because it doesn't really make sense to me to go like another 2 hours and break this down now that we've, almost gone 2 hours. So.
Yeah. But we can do that. This is a great movie. Reeve, he's the shit.
All right, Heather, we can hang out and do a few questions and answers if you guys want to do that. So yeah, let's go for it. If you have a few questions, we'll hang out for a little bit longer, and then we'll get out of here. Guys, make sure you're subscribed. Like right now, like just hit the subscribe button, because YouTube automatically unsubscribes people. It does. That's not a theory. I'm not crazy. It literally does that. Especially when you do live streams. They don't want to discourage us from doing live streams because they can't ram commercials in here. They don't want you to do it. So I don't know why they offer it, but then they don't want you to do it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, make sure you're subscribed. And then the link in the description, there literally, I think there were like 55 signed Dean Cain All-American Lawman covers left of the different styles. And I know like C is already gone again after like being up for just a day or two. So check that out. The links in the description. I mean, they're very limited on the, I think there were like 6 of one and 12 of another and stuff like that. There were not many left. And people had been emailing me, when are you going to put the rest of the signed ones up? I put them up 2 days ago, but only people on the mailing list got to know, and channel members. So if you want to get on the mailing list at bigmancomics.com, that's free. You want to join the channel, it's just a couple bucks a month. And I would love for you to do that. That'd be amazing. And, I haven't been posting a lot because I've been so busy writing and drawing comics. And now I have a lot of assistance now with all my social media. So you're going to see regular posting now, because I realized I cannot be a comic book writer and artist and a full-time social media person. So I now have like real help doing it. So it's going to be a lot more. So cover A is gone. Tony, you're on the mailing list? Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I don't know. You guys got to jump if you want to check them out. Let's see. There is no S in Christopher Reeve. I say Christopher Reeve and then I say Christopher Reeves. I go back and forth. I don't know.
Just one of those things.
I say Jericho Greens once in a while.
Now that would be weird.
Yeah, and then sadly, my baby says Reeve was thrown from his horse, landed on his head, resulting in a severe spinal cord injury, paralyzed from the neck down. Yeah, that's terrible. That was a tragedy. That happened in the 90s, right, dude?
Maybe early 2000s, but yeah, a long time ago.
And then he lived.
But he was in a wheelchair and couldn't speak. It was real bad. Real bad.
So, and thank you guys that sent in super chats. Very generous of you. And thank you all for being such good audience members for my guest, Dean. When we have a special guest here, I love that you guys are so enthusiastic and polite. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, so I want to know what happened at Warner Brothers. Heather, are you talking about with me quitting working there? If that's what you're talking about, let me know, and then I'll let you know, because it's a bit of a thing. But I'll get into it. I'll try and make it fast. And then Heather is asking, Jericho, how's your new job going? A lot of you guys don't know, but Jericho is an exotic dancer for women's bachelorette.
Yeah, I was totally fine with that.
How's that going?
I was fine with that. No, it's cool. Learning new stuff every day. It's cool. It's work. Nothing to write home about. All
right. Nothing to write home about. Okay, well, there you go. I guess Heather's saying yes, she wants to know what happened with me at DC Comics. Long story, I'll make it a short story. I want to be a comic book artist since I was a little boy. Got my dream job. My favorite artist hired me. My favorite artist when I was in middle school, he ended up hiring me. He was a vice president and an artist over there at DC Comics. Hired me, worked in the studio starting in 2008. It was great. I worked for them for 3 years in the house as a Warner Brothers employee. They shut the studio in San Diego, moved everything to Hollywood to make TV and movies a focus. Then I went freelance and I worked for them. But now I was able to work on Ghostbusters, Transformers, Star Wars. I was able to work on everything because I was a freelance artist. As we all know, Obama's second term, society goes crazy woke. And unfortunately, DC Comics and Marvel and Disney and all of them, they have followed suit and they've gone insanely woke. And I didn't have woke work to do really, but it was creeping that way. Finally, I got a new job on a new Superman book. And it was like, he doesn't use the Truth, Justice, American Way slogan. And you know why they intentionally want to ruin that. And then his son, Jonathan, underage, not 18, is bisexual. We're going to explore a lot of that in the comic. So I'm like, all right, guys, I'm out of here because I don't do books with sex and underage people, or I don't even do it with adult people. If you read the stuff that I write, I don't put that in my book. That's not something. I'm not a pornographer. I did not plan on being one for a living, so I'm sticking to that. How about you, Jericho? You ever have dreams of being a pornographer? Can't hear you. I think you got your mic or something.
There we go. I said not yet.
Oh, not yet. Not yet. Okay.
No, give me time.
Shrapnel says, I need to see you more on side scrolls. I love Craig and Blabs, the crew over there. They're fantastic.
Yeah,
During
cool.
Comic-Con 1 month ago, Jericho was on there like on Wednesday or Thursday, and then I was on Friday. Have you been back since? I haven't been back since, but
No.
I'll come back. He invites me. Have you kept in touch with him?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and it was really cool. He was the two co-hosts. Very cool. Audience was cool. It was a great experience.
Yeah, side scrollers. That's a fun show. They get a little edgy, have a little bit of fun there, so it's right up your alley. You were a little too edgy for them, and you got
yeah.
But they loved it. Yeah,
but it was a good time while it was happening. So
all right.
happy for that.
Heather says she can't watch movies anymore because of the woke. Yes, yeah. I mostly don't go to the movies anymore. I think in the last 4 years I've been to the theater probably 5 times. Top Gun Maverick. I took my granddaughter to see The Minions Part 4, which was not woke. It was just a funny adventure for kids. I took her to
Same
see
with
that.
Kung Fu Panda 4.
It's not
That was
woke.
cool.
Okay,
Nope.
cool. And the movie I saw right before the shutdown was the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Not woke, fun. Took baby to see the Super Mario Brother movie a year and a half ago. Not woke, fun. So I think those are the movies I've seen like in the last 4 years in the theater, like 4 or 5 movies. So,
Yeah, it definitely takes a little research,
yeah.
to make sure they're not about the bullshit. But I took my son to see Kung Fu Panda 4. It was cool.
Cool. Cassie Suba watches Side Scrolls. Yeah, it's a really fun show. I think Blabs is so quirky and fun, and Craig's a great host. Craig is an OG. He created screwattack.com. It was a video channel talking about video games on it before YouTube existed. Like, he's an OG for online video stuff. He's awesome, Craig. Gabe, would love to see you back on FNT. Jericho would feel good on that. Yeah, I've told I'm good friends with the FNT crew. I've been on once. I'll be back. We've talked about it for sure. Just everybody's busy as hell. And that show, they're booked like a month out or more usually. So, if you want to be on there, you got to talk to them. But I'm good friends with Nerdrotic and his wife. They're very kind to me and my wife. And they were at our party for San Diego, and I go to their get-togethers and all that. And we like them a lot. And I've told them about Jericho, and they met Jericho, and they thought he was great too.
Yeah.
So all in good time. We'll all get on there. It's a very, very crowded, very busy thing to get on there. So the Sonic movies aren't woke. No, not the first one wasn't. I didn't see the second. The first one was not at all. It was an adventure, straight up adventure. So, and Jim Carrey was hilarious as the bad guy, Dr. Robotnik. He was really eccentric and crazy and really funny. So
Yeah, I think he's probably like one of those actors that I asked Dean about, the ones who are just like, eccentric. That's a good word for it. Who are just like fucking weirdos in real life. I think when you see Jim Carrey getting roles like that, like that's very much his genius on full tilt. But I'm interested to know what he would be like, sitting down having a beer.
did you have you seen Sonic? Because I would recommend that for your kids. The first one. I can't vouch.
Yeah. My son loves that movie. I think it just came on Netflix or something like that. Yeah, he loves that movie. And now as parents, we got to do a little homework before we let them watch the new stuff. Old shit is cool, but the new stuff, even watching the old shit from the 90s, early 2000s, you could see it in there. It wasn't as out.
Have your children, your son and daughter, have they seen the OG Star Wars yet?
No.
How excited are you now? I hope they're not listening. How excited are you to be watching Empire Strike Backs with them? Strike Backs? What am I talking about?
Strikes.
The Empire Strikes Back. I do speak English, I promise. And when Darth Vader says, "No, I am your father," and look over at your son and daughter and they go, like, to see someone see that reveal for the first time would be so exciting. Because I don't remember learning that. Because I saw Empire Strikes Back, I was like 3 or something. I don't remember seeing it. Like Star Wars, it was just always the thing I knew. It just existed in my life. I don't ever remember. I remember seeing Return of the Jedi at the movie theater when I was in kindergarten, but barely, But are you looking forward to that?
That's a hell of a movie to see in kindergarten. The movies, what school did you go to? That's a shit.
No. We were in Hawaii visiting my aunt and uncle who lived in Hawaii. And Return of the Jedi was out that Christmas in '83. So we all went there because we were huge Star Wars fans. I think my mom was a sci-fi nerd because we didn't ask her. And she just always would buy us Star Wars toys. And we had everything, every character, every vehicle, every play set. And we wouldn't even ask. And then my mom did this thing that was silly. So we wouldn't fight. she would buy like 2 of every character, and then we would have 2 Han Solos and 2 Darth Vaders. So me and my brother would each have one, but I don't think we were going to fight anyway. But then we would get into really weird storylines because then we'd have the evil twin and all that.
Yeah. It fed that curiosity.
Right.
You know?
Star Wars is Germany, but in space. Spaceballs is legendary. I freaking love Spaceballs.
Oh, definitely. May the Schwartz be with you.
You know their remake, they're making a sequel.
No.
And it's written by one of the wokest, like Kamal, like the white dude for Kamala. Josh Gad is a Hollywood comedian actor. And I think he's the writer of the new one. So
that should not
cross
be
your fingers.
That should not be my reaction when I hear a remake with the technology and stuff they have now. But it always is. I'm just like, oh. Like Beetlejuice and The Crow, the remake of those. I saw both the trailers. I'll check them out. They look good, but that's how they get you with the trailer. Oh, this doesn't look bad. Boom, you get in there and you're like, what? she's the love interest, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So.
Cassie Suba, you don't know how right you are. Your mama cultivated that creativity and you have good. My mother was a school teacher. She taught me how to read when I was like 3 years old. So I've loved stories, telling them, writing them since I was a little boy. I would get in trouble in kindergarten because I would read my brother's books before I was in school. I read them all. So then I would be in kindergarten and Mrs. Sawaski was trying to give the lesson. I would say, oh, I know, the troll steals the carrots from the farmer. And she would tell me, stop getting ahead and telling everyone what happens in the story. But I was, spoiler alert, in kindergarten because I'd already read the books the year before I went to school. So, but my mother, we didn't have TV, Cassie, and we didn't go to the movies. All these movies I talk about on the show, I've seen them like in the last 5-10 years. Like Superman, I saw it yesterday. And growing up, we had about 10 video cassettes of all wholesome movies, and that's all we were allowed to watch. And we were not allowed to watch much of it. And we didn't have TV. We had cable TV like twice for like a year or 6 months or something like that. But we just were not exposed to like filthy pop culture. And her mantra to me, always to me and my brother, was go be creative. And that's what we did. We would build miniatures and paint dioramas and make comic books on typing paper and staple them together. And just, it was always like being at art camp at our house growing up. So she told me to be creative long enough that I ended up doing it for a business. So there you go.
And that's where moms come in, nurture.
Right.
They see something in you, and that's their job to nurture that. They do it so well.
Cranberry Langas, Gabe spitting the plot in kindergarten. Oh, spoiling the plot. Yeah, I was. My baby, Gabe L. Tape, thoughts on Avengers Payday 2026, aka Avengers Doomsday. I've never been a fan of the Marvel movies. There's like 25 of them, right? I've only seen like 5. I don't like them. I never have. If you've been watching this show for any amount of time, I hate those movies. And I heard that they brought that it's a good actor, Robert Downey Jr., back to now be a different character. He's not Iron Man. Now he's Dr.
Doom.
Okay. And I don't have an opinion on it because I'm not going to see it. I don't care. I think Hollywood is the worst thing to happen to comic books. I think Hollywood and comics relationship should be what it was until 2008. You had Dean's Show. You had a Batman movie in 1989. You had a Superman movie in 78. You had occasional TV and movies. Just sprinkle it here and there. Ninja Turtle movie, whatever. You know what I mean? But the fact that comic books turned into Hollywood completely, as an insider that works in this business intimately, love this art form. Comic books are an original American art form. It was created by Americans about 100 years ago. I know firsthand what Hollywood has done to comic books. It has mostly ruined comic books. So those movies could be good or not, but I resent them as a comic book maker for what they've done to my industry. So that's my strong opinion on comic book movies. Sorry. I know you don't want to hear it because I know you guys all love those movies. I fucking hate them with a passion.
So that's kind of ballsy to bring back the main character of one of your biggest franchises to play a villain in another franchise.
Right.
But I probably won't see it either.
But I mean, they do all those multiple universe things, so that's how they probably get away with it. Like, oh, in this dimension, Iron Man was actually Dr. Doom, and really at the bottom line is, hey, this is a business decision. If we hire him to play something again, people will come watch it. Shrapnel says Deadpool and Wolverine, from what I've heard, is pretty good. I think most people absolutely love Deadpool. I hate it more than any other movie besides Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is my second least favorite.
Hey, I'm right here.
I hate Deadpool so much, not because it isn't good. Ryan Reynolds, good actor. The script, funny. The special effects, it looks great. But just like cocaine is fun for people, do not do drugs. It's bad. Cocaine is bad. It's objectively unhealthy, dangerous, whatever. It's awful, even though it makes people have fun. I don't do drugs. I've never tried it. But apparently it's fun because people go to jail over this shit. That's how I feel about
That's when
Deadpool.
it's not fun.
That's how I feel about Deadpool. It is funny. It's got a story that makes sense. It's exciting, but it is objectively bad for you because it is so beyond the pale, filthy. I don't know how people watch it and they're not squirming. And there's like dildo jokes and cocaine. The hero's taking cocaine. Like, what are we doing? And like, to me, the movie's so dirty, I can't get past that. So people love it, enjoy it. It's not for me. So, George the Giant Slayer. We love him. Guys, search George the Giant Slayer on YouTube and on Twitter. He's got a great YouTube channel. He's an awesome guy supporting the culture war. Might be doing some fun stuff with him here in the future. And he's invited me to come back on his show. I've had some fun appearances there. And George, I never thanked you. Good friend of mine now. I consider him a good friend. Matthew Marsden, the great actor from Black Hawk Down and Rambo and Resident Evil and all that. I met him on your show and we hit it off. He had followed me on Twitter, but we didn't really talk. But I got to know him on your show and we've become friends ever since. We got to go to his movie premiere. It was awesome. But and I consider him an actual friend now. So thank you, George, for introducing us. And George, did I tell you, Jericho, he wants you on his show soon. You need to go.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate the
and I sent one of you, George or Jericho, I sent one of you each other's contact info. So one of you call the other one or text the other one. But you'll love it, Jericho. Definitely. He's got a good channel. He gets a good audience in there. It's like Sunday afternoons. Guys, you want to check out George Johnson. He's got a good channel. Let's see. Hold on. There's a super chat and I lost it. Where did it go? Where is this? Hold on. I can see it, but I can't find it in the chat here to pop it on the screen. Oh, there it is. Where'd it go? Oh, commenting is dangerous for $5. Thank you very much, friend. I am new here. Have you guys talked about Gun Superman on here? It looks like it might actually be good. We have not spoke about it at all. I'm hopeful. If they can recapture that innocence and charm and love and bravery that Christopher Reeve, not Reeves, had in this original one, then that's awesome. If they can capture that fun and the dynamic with Lois and Clark that Dean did back in the 90s, then I hope they do it. If they go woke and they say the white man's the devil and America sucks, and oh my God, don't do it.
They love it.
Do that.
It's a drug. It's a drug to them. They have to wag their.
It's like you're covering the mouth. You're like, don't say America sucks. You're like, I'm going to take my hand off. When I take my hand off, don't say America sucks. Like they can't help it.
It's a drug to them. They have to wag their finger at you every opportunity they get. They will not let an opportunity go by. They must tell you how amazing they are and what they figured out and what they're going to change.
Don't do it, guys. It's so easy to make a good Superman movie and make money and entertain and inspire people.
Preach. Preach.
Oof. I saw the trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 yesterday when I was having my coffee with Big Baby. Big Baby sits on my lap in the morning and we watch YouTube and I have coffee. And she likes to have eggs with chorizo and papas. She loves potatoes. That's one of her favorite things. And it looks great. And I got to see Sonic 2 because the first one was awesome and it wasn't woke. So I'm always looking like stuff that's adventure for kids to inspire them and not brainwash them with woke film. So I hope that Sonic has stayed that course, because the first one was great. And the first Mario Brother movie was great. Those are really fun movies. So let's see. So have you seen anything, Jericho? Like I've told you multiple times how much I hate Deadpool. What movie is that for you? What is the movie you're just like, don't even mention that movie in front of me. What is that movie that you hate?
Let me see. I don't know. There's some really bad movies out there, some really bad ones, but really anything like the all-female Ghostbusters.
You're just sexist and just white supremacy, Jericho.
That was horrible. You know what was worse than that?
You were the black face of white supremacy.
Thank you very much.
I've been biting my tongue on that for so long.
I will wear that hat proudly. Had it. You know what? Which is worse than that, if that's even humanly possible, was the latest Charlie's Angels, directed by Elizabeth Banks. That shit was That was the sauce on a diarrhea Sunday. It
Ooh.
was the new Charlie's Angels. It was so.
Now I love you and I think you're smart, but now I'm questioning, why would you go to that? I knew not to go to that movie. How did you end up at that movie?
No, I didn't go watch it. I didn't watch it in the theaters.
Oh.
No way.
I thought you were there
Hell
with your
no.
popcorn and your little hat on, and like, oh boy, oh boy.
my Charlie's Angels Full Throttle T-shirt. No, I watched that in the
Throttle
privacy
Me
of my
Fully
home.
T-shirt.
Yeah. No, I did not watch that in the theaters, but it was just you almost have to give it a level of respect for how bad it is. For the amount of money that they waste.
Remarkably bad. It's impressively bad.
The amount of eyeballs that it passed by before we even saw it that were like, yes, 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 and yes.
Now,
it's amazing. It adds to the awesomeness of this movie.
George the Giant Slayer for $9.99. Thank you, George. Very generous. Are you not at all concerned how Gunn is going to represent Superman just based on the fact his DCU lineup includes the authority to have their own film? I expect, if I had to put money on it, you say to me, Gabe, you got to put $5,000 on this. Is it going to be woke trash, or is it going to be Christopher Reeve, Dean Cain? Is it going to be that Superman, or is it going to be woke trash? And you're making me put $5 or $10,000 on it. Woke trash. If I have to put skin in the game, I think it's going to be woke, postmodern. Trump is the devil. And, dad is always wrong, and America's actually a racist slave colony or what. Like, if I had to put big money, I would put it on It'll Be Shit. Yeah. So
there's definitely going to be a scene where they're on a college campus and somebody is speaking at the university and there's a counter protest and it's going to be out of focus, but they'll have like blonde hair and like tan skin and a blue suit with a red tie, and you hear it'll sound very similar, not the same.
Lex Luthor.
Yeah, you'll know. It'll definitely have a scene like that. That's where you just press eject.
Yeah, I think it's gonna suck. I think it's gonna be and it's not that the woke stuff is bad, because I think it is bad woke stuff. I think it's actually just, if you forget all morality and you just look at it like a computer and you just analyze it artistically, woke stuff is bad because the stories are not told correctly, because they're serving identity politics instead of actual storytelling of the hero's journey. That doesn't bother me so much. Like, it's a shitty movie. I've seen plenty. What bothers me is it's immoral. That's what bothers me. Because you can take a movie that's very funny and well-written like Deadpool, but it's so immoral, I want nothing to do with it. So the quality of the movie is separate from the morality. At least I can separate them in my brain. So that's the thing that makes me want to not watch something, is the morality of it. And to me, a movie like Deadpool, it's so immoral. Like, I was raised, we don't joke like that. We don't watch that. Like, I was just raised that way. So to me, it's too dirty, So let's see. James Gunn, the earth revolves around the sun. Mothers love their children. Grace Randolph will spout bullshit. There you go. Yeah. Let's see. I agree with George. Okay, good. What else do we got? We need a good Street Fighter movie. Jericho, we haven't reviewed that yet.
Yeah, I'm ready when you are, man.
The Van Damme. We got to do Superman. We took all our time with Dean, which I love doing, but we got to do Superman next week because I got to talk about this movie. We'll do it just solo, obviously. And let's see. Yeah, we need a good Street Fighter movie. Oh, man.
Because that one was not good.
What do you think of the Authority getting a movie? Don't you think that is a bad choice of characters to serve up so soon as you? I do. They're unknown and they're crass and they're dirty. I worked on a lot of the Authority comics at DC Comics. When I started coloring in their studio, I would assist. I would color half a book, and then someone more experienced than me would be my leader on it. They would tell me what to do. And we would split the book up by scenes. So if you have like a bank robbery and the scene at the dam and the scene in the forest, he'd go, okay, you do the forest and the dam, I'll do the bank robbery and the airport. And that way your color like matches for the scene, because different scenes have different colors. Anyway, the first book they gave me solo was The Midnighter, and he's the Batman in the Authority. And then I did a bunch of Authority books, and they weren't actually dirty when I worked on them. But the original Authority so that was 2008, 9, 10. The original Authority books from like the 90s, they were filthy. Like the TV show The Boys on Amazon, they had that kind of stuff going on. Like the Midnighter kills a guy with a jackhammer in the behind in the old ones, not the one I worked on. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
So yeah, I wouldn't want to work on stuff like that. No, thank you. So yeah, that's yeah. So if they go and do an authority movie and it's all like super dirty Deadpool jokes, all that, it'll find its audience. People love the boys, they love Deadpool. I find it disgusting. It can make money, I suppose, because people seem to love that filth. I don't know. It's like Taco Bell. I drive by Taco Bell, there's a line. I don't understand. I don't think I've been to a Taco Bell in 23 or 4 years. I don't know why people go there, but hey, they're
They
free
love
country.
diarrhea, man. They're gluttons for punishment.
So let's see. No, but how about a Riddler movie? That might be fun.
Who would
who
would
do
play
it?
the Riddler?
What if it was the same people that did like Seven? Was that David Fincher? Did he direct Seven, I believe? We got to do Seven on this channel, by the way. Holy cow, right?
Yeah, that movie's
If you
great.
had like a David Fincher tone for the Riddler, or the guy that the original crew that did True Detective, the first season, I think you could get a great Riddler story out of something like that. You know, have you ever seen True Detective, Jericho?
No. Is that the one with Woody Harrelson?
And Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, yeah.
It is hardcore. It is violent and gruesome because it's about like really bad stuff about killing and this and that. It might be, I mean, most people say it's the greatest television show ever made. It's like 8 or 10 episodes. You can't stop watching it. It is so compelling. And yes, there's evil in it, but I can tolerate it because the good guys are good and they want to stop the evil. You know what I mean? So, and the evil is the worst kind of evil in that show. But yeah, True Detective
Check
is
that out.
insane.
Down for a good watch.
Yeah.
There are multiple seasons.
There are 3 seasons, but they change the actor, directors, and the story every season. I think there was a 4th season actually with 2 women were the main detectives finally.
Oh boy.
So yeah. So Cassie Suba, fake Mexican food. I'm Hispanic. I cook the real thing. Well, Tex-Mex. That sentence was going well until you said Tex-Mex. But you know, what are you gonna do?
It's going so well.
So yeah, so because me and Jericho have this argument where he loses every time where he tries to say
No, there's no argument.
Northern California's
whatsoever.
garbage Mexican food is better than my Mexican food in
Bullshit.
San Diego.
Bullshit.
I just let Jericho think he's winning. I don't want to hurt his feelings. He already has to live up there and eat that. It's bad enough he has to eat it. So
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to rub it in, you know.
I'll be fine with this great Mexican food. I'll be
Right. I mean, it's, you know, it's Northern California Mexican.
Well, I mean, Southern California Mexican food is like, okay, Southern California Mexican food or an open can of cat food.
The open can being Northern California, I agree.
Cat food. No, nope. Going with the cat food.
I live 20 miles from Tijuana, Mexico. I'm living where it's coming from. What are you?
And none of them made it up here. They just crossed the finish line.
They all leapfrog San Diego and go up there.
They crossed the finish line and just set up shop in San Diego.
You would agree there would be, if they're coming from here to there, then scientifically there'd have to be a higher concentration of them here, and they slowly, some of them.
Yeah, all the shitty ones that couldn't cook.
No,
they stay in San Diego.
You know what? You know who ends up in Northern California making your burritos? The people who couldn't hack it here. They get drummed out of San Diego.
You guys keep the bums. The real ones persevere and head farther north.
No,
they farther north.
They couldn't
to the promised land.
They couldn't make it in San Diego.
They come to San Diego and they're like, hey, we'll sell our shitty food right here. Fuck it. And all the good ones go up north.
As you know, I go to Tijuana, and I haven't been there in about a month, but I go down there just as a food tourist. And dude, amazing food. You got to look for it. But I got a comic book fan of mine. He was at the party at Comic-Con. You may have met him, Hector, Mexican guy. And he shows me places down there. I've gone down there to eat with him a couple times. And there's some righteous Mexican food, obviously. Yeah, because Tijuana is a big city. It's 2 million people. It's bigger than San Diego. So, yeah, it's insanely good, some of the food I found on there. I went to a Brazilian barbecue in Mexico. It was different than here, but it was still good. So, yeah.
Delish.
Yeah. Who will be the next James Bond? Do you know who I want to be the next James Bond so badly? Do you have any idea? Do you know how happy I would be? And Steven Seagal.
No. Don't you have to be younger?
James Bond.
Nope. Next.
Jericho. I worked out a new pentatonic scale for my new album. I
Somebody told me that you could sing, and I wanted you to do a duet with me on my next jazz
No,
album.
Don't believe everything you hear, Steven.
You don't have to be embarrassed. I know you really want to croon with me.
Hey, you know what, man? We're about to wrap up the show. Dang it. If only you came earlier, that would have been
Oh, don't worry. I could
great.
stay. I could stay. It's no problem
No,
at all.
but we can't. That's the thing. We can't.
Oh, no, you're just being shy. I get
You would
it.
sit, you'd be here with no audience, which you might be used to, whatever. But
Hey,
yeah,
that was a festival. That was a summer festival. You can't
we were
expect me
gonna.
to come out in that weather.
Yeah, you can't expect people to come out during the summertime. That's ridiculous.
Right. It was very hot. It was very hot.
Where were you playing?
It was the Lake Havasu Jazz Festival. It was 127 degrees.
Maybe you should have booked an evening show. Or
I only
maybe
wear
10.
black shirts. You understand?
Yeah, then definitely book a nighttime show. But anyway,
You know what I do to cool off in August? I wear acrylic and one basketball shorts.
You know what? But now we're starting to get into the weeds of another conversation. We don't need to do that. So
Okay. Well,
yeah,
listen,
we're gonna go ahead and shut it down. But
I'll
hey,
call you after the show.
always a pleasure. Always.
We'll do that duet. We'll harmonize. You want to try a little harmony right now?
No, never.
All right. Okay. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Namaste.
Yeah.
The great Steven Seagal, everyone. You never know who's
Yeah.
going to drop in here.
Great action star, but not not on that guitar. I mean, in real life, he is good on the guitar. But on here, he's too much, man.
Brosnan was the best 007. He's second to Sean Connery to me.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. What you both said. Second to Sean Connery.
Sean Connery's the greatest.
Of course. Right? But
Right.
Pierce Brosnan is not in second place.
Not Pierce Brosnan. Timothy Dalton actually was the one I liked the second best.
The
Living
he wouldn't
Daylight.
be second either. He wouldn't be second either.
Who's your second?
I would actually put Daniel Craig as number 2.
He's blonde. He's not James Bond. It makes no sense.
Pierce Brosnan was too soft. Timothy Dalton, we only got what, 2 movies out of him?
Yeah.
I guess Timothy Dalton was all right, but
Timothy
Sean
Dalton
Connery is
was
definitely number 1.
Yes, of course, darling.
You're
Me and the crew used to do
being a little team.
Okay, guys, we're gonna do Superman next week without being Cain, so we can actually get to the movie. Jericho, is there anything you'd like to promote? Thank you for tuning in, guys. Make sure you're subscribed. Check out all of Jericho's links in the description.
Yes.
Guys, the Dean Cain All-American Lawman. I had like 50, maybe 55 copies left of the autographed ones that Dean and I did back in March. There's a couple left. BigManComics.com. The link's in the description. Run, don't walk, because some of them have already sold out. I think A and C are already gone again because there were just a handful. So run and get your autographed edition. We had just a few left. And follow Jericho and me on all socials, Instagram, Twitter, or X, here on YouTube. Jericho has 2 channels on YouTube, Green's House and the regular Jericho Green channel. JG Talk on Instagram. I am Big Man Comics on Twitter. I'm Gabe LT everywhere else. Follow us. Anything you want to share, Jericho? We're going to get the heck out of here.
It's at JG Talk 2, the number 2, because my other account is suspended due to hate speech. So give me a follow over there at JG Talk 2.
All right, guys. We will follow this up with Superman 1978 next Wednesday, and we will talk to you later.